All right, stream should be live.
I'm here. I'm getting crackle on my end, and I know it's my setup. I hope it's not coming
I'm
I can't
not.
through
hear
that way.
I'm not
anything.
hearing anything. You sound fine to
Okay.
me.
All right.
So, all right, let me do that. Yeah, there we go. All right, excellent, excellent. It's muted. Cool. All right, so welcome everyone to the TTRPG Theater for tonight's session of the Embers of Empire campaign. I am joined by three wonderful people who are part of the terrifying and amazing people squad. I think is what we
Yes.
landed on. Otherwise known as the Tap Squad. Um, we are missing Erin tonight. Unfortunately, her computer decided that it
I
no
have
longer wanted to
Twitches
work.
still saying stream starting soon.
Oh well, yeah. I could probably. This is that you
Sounds
can
good,
tell that
I
Kendra.
got you before we got too far.
this is a high quality professional broadcast we have going here. You cannot get this kind of entertainment anywhere else, except everywhere else on the
Absolutely.
internet. Because I mean, have you seen the rest of the internet?
Yeah.
So yeah, unfortunately, Erin was not able to join us this evening. Her computer decided that it was no longer going to be working. And for those of you who had seen the announcements, we do have some sad news, and we kind of wanted to touch on it. A member of the Tap Squad and a dear friend to really everyone here, Kevin Stacy, otherwise known as Kevran Games, passed away last week after a battle with cancer. I had the pleasure of getting to know Kevin at the same time that I got to know Killian. In that they both played in one of the I think it was actually one of the very first CNC games that I ran where I didn't know any of the players beforehand. The players were assembled for me, and so it was really cool getting to run the game for them, getting to know them. Kevin, after that, Kevin, I was so lucky that I got to play. I kind of got to do the what I like to think of the trifecta of TTRPG experience with someone. I ran games for him, he ran games for me, and we got to play together in other in games run by somebody else. I got to play in a Vason game with a Vason campaign with him, which was absolutely amazing. Our characters actually interacted throughout the thing. They had their own little storyline together. I was privileged to be on his podcast several times, playing a couple of indie TTRPGs, including the most whimsical game that you can possibly think of. I mean, Magical Kitties saved the day. It doesn't get any more fun than that. But I wanted to give everyone else a chance. I mentioned that I got to know Killian at the same time that I got to know Kevin. Killian.
Yeah, it's Rob, we've known each other 2.5 years. How crazy is it? First off. But yeah, getting to know him and play games with him. I was in Lady Blackbird over on his podcast with Rob, and that was a wild, wild ride.
That was
Uh
great.
we he came over on Rainbows and Razor Blades and played the Vason game. He played in a couple other things, and he was just a genuine joy to play in games with. Always had interesting characters, interesting storylines, and always there and willing to listen if you needed him.
Ty or Tim?
I'll just yeah. um, Kevin and I played in a couple of things, including Novarden, where he played a Lenai named Kaban Moss, and he was excellent at playing the Lenai, which is the elemental wild child, unpredictable. Um, Tim's favorite.
My
It's
favorite
also
too.
yeah. I'm pretty sure that's Gillian's favorite too.
Yeah.
But I was hoping that we would play again. I thought that it would happen again because he was an excellent player, and he never ran a game for me as a GM. But I very much enjoyed playing these games with him.
Yeah, and I'll finish up by saying I've oddly can't remember where I first met Kevin. Um, but we played a bunch of games. I was in a few games he ran. I didn't get the trifecta, but but I did get a lot of fond memories with him. Um, my my favorite and I think is fitting of him as a player was a sort of mothership kind of game we were playing, and we were the we were the people to set the bomb off at the bomb, and my character for the 100th time got paralyzed by alien bile or whatever it was, and and
Every game you
ev
play.
every time I ran into this stuff, it was a D6 roll, and it always landed on paralysis. And so I was going to be eaten by the alien babies, and Kevin's character was resigned to his fate. So he made this beautiful gesture of looking into my eyes and then reaching out reaching out for me and then cutting my throat. And it and it was one of those moments where I didn't know what he was doing, and but our chemistry as players, it was one of those fun things where it was like I can always count on him to do something fun and something interesting that made it easier for me to play off of.
Was
Um,
I in that game?
were
That
you?
sounds so familiar. I
I
don't.
think you were. I think
Yeah, I was
you
the only
got
one
a
that was that Guild
got
Superior.
away. Yeah, it was Go Superior.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah. I
yeah,
got away. Yeah, I locked. I
yeah,
was the last one to lock myself in the room.
yeah.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Someone survived a mothership session on Guild Superior. That's not
I
I
bad.
mean,
I
ish.
I
I
climbed.
mean,
Yeah,
my one session, somebody survived, but that was only because the stream ended before Dave got a chance to kill him.
Yeah,
my survival was very much a the thing kind of ending.
yeah.
You could just play the.
So yeah, I want to thank you all for sharing some remembrances, and Kevin, we missed your presence. We missed the games that we won't get to play with you. And I'm just your presence is going to miss going forward. So with that, in honor, one last thing to honor Kevin, I had an adventure that I was initially going to run for tonight. And I decided that, thinking about the Magical Kitty Save the Day, because it really is the most ridiculously cutesy, fun, whimsical game you can possibly play. To do something, this is an adventure I've actually run twice, never for this campaign. It is going to be offbeat, and I've got the right crew for it. So, we will start off at the guild hall, where a young elf is sitting in front of what basically amounts to a locker. So it's more like a small bureau, and is currently packing his belongings. Young Northus Menethil, the elven monk. Um, one of you want to walk in.
Zekwe just pushes the doors open and saunters in. All right, who do I gotta talk to here? And turns around and looks at our
uh, Northus looks at this. Zekwe. Oh, there you are. I was just coming to see you in a bit. I I am going to need to uh, head home, as it were. I'm unfortunately will no longer be able to join you on your adventures.
Zekwe runs up and like wraps around his leg. Nope, you can't go.
Ferris is walking by and glances in the room and walks on by and then stops and steps backwards and looks at Zeki.
Uh,
What are you doing with Northus?
He said he's leaving. I told him he couldn't.
No, yeah, you can't.
Unfortunately, I must, my friends. The lands of my people call to me, and it is time I answered the call. I've treasured this time with you all, but it is time for me to be going.
Right about that time, everyone hears a great clanking noise heading in their direction, and in walks Taggart in full plate mail and a big helmet with wings on it. And hey, friends, we ready? What are we doing?
I see Taggart is ready to take the place of two of me. That is quite the ensemble you have, my friend. And he walks
Ah,
over. He walks over with Zekwe still attached, and is like has one arm hugging her as Zekwe's hugging him, and reaches out and extends a hand to Ferris.
I'll awkwardly shake his hand. I kind of think that sometimes calling is overrated, but I'm just speaking from personal experience.
Can I
I mean,
shrink and
don't
go in your pocket?
what is all this talk?
He's
Northus
leaving us.
is, yeah.
I have to go.
Oh, um, all
It's
right.
only okay if you have to go because your family will die if you don't.
I
They
don't want to
always,
be that dramatic, my friend. But listen, I need you to stay and keep an eye on these two because you know what kind of trouble they will get in if you're not around to keep an eye on them, right?
I will keep an eye on that. And then she'll turn around and just stare at them.
Well, I guess all I can say is, uh, my grandfather used to say, uh, there's a time to leave and a time to stay, and if it's your time to leave, then you probably shouldn't stay.
somehow I think that your grandfather probably actually did say that.
Northus stares at you for a moment, and he says, "Now I know that I can leave in peace because I understood that."
Well,
And he
of
extends a
course,
hand
That's
to
why I'm
you.
stuck here.
sh good shake, heavy shake. Right. Yeah, that's all I got for goodbyes. Except, no, that's not for goodbyes. That's for when you get lost in the outhouse. Well,
Zephyr
anyway,
does
I
like
will.
peel a little bit of moss that like is growing in her hair and like pats it in his hand and says to remember me by.
Thank you, Zekwe. Somehow I don't think I could ever forget you. Be well, my friends. Have all the adventures.
Wolfness bless you on your journey.
I'm
right,
watching
and
you.
and, and don't fall down when you leave.
I will do my best not to.
So fullness, not faultless.
Oh,
And with that, Northus takes
right.
his leave of you. Northus is replaced in the room within a few minutes by the face of Tyrella, the second in command of the Company of the Sundered Shield. We have a giant raid. Lord Gazumba, thank you very much, sir.
Oh,
Oh,
Lord
Uh,
Kizumba, hey,
hello.
what's up?
Hello.
Welcome in,
Oh,
everyone.
thanks. Welcome, Raiders.
We are just really honestly getting started with the adventures. We are honoring our friend tonight, who Kevin Stacy, who passed away last week. I have changed the adventure to be one that I think he would have really enjoyed. It is one that I've run before, though not during this campaign. It is a bit whimsical, and I'm thinking that you're really going to enjoy this particular group going through it. Don't forget to get them to sign a contract. Thanks, Asher.
Yeah.
I only sign a contract if it's with a warlock patron that's going to give me real life warlock power.
Real
Uh,
life warlock powers.
I mean, just become a musician. Sorry, that
Tyrella
was a stretch.
peeks her head in, and uh, Tyrella is normally she's a very enthusiastic sort. She's got that energy that just you know that she enjoys pretty much everything about helping to run the company, growing the company, and occasionally adventuring with members of the company. She says, I was wondering, are the three of you available? We have something for you, and well,
If they go, I go. I'm watching them.
she
And
pauses.
exactly what form of available are you looking for? Or
Well,
work? Oh, right.
we had someone take the unusual step of showing up on our doorstep, who let's just say you're probably going to want to see this because I don't know that I could adequately describe it if I tried.
A
Now I'm
mystery, I'm
curious.
in.
Oh,
Um,
I guess so.
with that, she leads you to one of the other rooms in the guild hall. This one of not, it's not one of the common rooms. It's one of the more for used for private meetings and such. There is a you can tell it's a feminine figure. However, she is has her cloak pulled tightly about. Looks to have a cloak pulled tightly about her. Her hood up and kind of mess, and she takes a moment to look up, and you realize as the light kind of catches underneath the cloak that the skin on her face, of what you can see of her face, is decidedly purple. A bright, not even like a deep royal purple, but almost it's almost it would almost be like a fluorescent lavender type purple. Uh, I understand. She doesn't pull the hood off yet. She says, "Do I understand that you might be willing to uh, help me? Help us. We really could use some help. We don't know what to do."
Well,
There's a good chance.
yeah, I'm not sure if you need lots of help. Um,
What is the nature of help you require? And Zekwe stands up a little bit straighter, remembering that North has said to keep you two out of trouble.
We
that would be that one. Yeah.
um we have a wizard problem.
Oh, I'm a wizard.
We think we have a wizard problem. We're not sure if the wizard's the problem or something has happened to the wizard or well, we just don't know. And with that, she pulls back her hood, and you get an idea of how wrong things have gotten because the purple, the bright lavenderish purple of her face is confirmed, and you can see that it looks to be like all of her skin. Her hair is almost a neon green, and it is all standing absolutely straight up. She she gives you the first impression of someone who has been hit by a bolt of lightning, and then again for good measure. Uh,
Oh, wait, am I a wizard? Am I a druid? I never remember that.
Ah, you are shocking.
yes. Well, needless to say, I wasn't always like this, and uh, honestly, I wasn't like this all of a week ago. But things have gotten out of hand. Uh, where should I start?
The beginning is usually the easiest place to start.
Well, even before that, is this problem? You're having a problem. It appears. Is this problem contagious?
The problem, I don't think it's contagious, but it is
Well, I'll
growing.
check. Zach will go up and grab her hand.
She looks down at your hand and give me a wisdom check. Add your level and your wisdom modifier, and let me know if it's a prime.
It is a prime.
All right,
That is a 15.
15. All right. The look on her face pretty much tells you that when you touch her, she is absolutely unsure as to what may or may not happen when you touch her hand.
I turn around and ask the guys, am I turning purple?
Nope, you're the same color as you always are.
Well, now we shouldn't rush to a judgment. It took a week or so for this one to.
I'm a disciple of Foltest. Judgment is what I do.
But I'm saying time is what were we talking about?
Coloration.
Coloration. Time is
Exactly
coloration.
becoming purple. That's the question.
Transmogrification is, I
Hmm.
think, the correct term of what has happened to our friend here.
Tra Terrans?
Tyrannosaurus Rex, rar.
Right. Um. hmm.
Well, we don't really know what did happen, if we're honest about it.
Well, now my father always said that if you
You,
don't know what happened, then it's probably not your. How did he say it?
well, think about that for a moment, but I
Right.
believe that we're probably dismissing our esteemed guest
Well, I
by
think
talking about them as if they're not here.
she did say there was a wizard problem. I
Well,
think.
milady,
It's
Was there
actually
perhaps
a
you
more to
wizard
this?
problem.
Yeah,
expound a
yes.
bit more upon the situation at hand.
So, my name is Abigail. I come from a small village. Uh, we 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 call the place Mudcliff, just because the spring rains bring lots of mud, and well, there's a cliff nearby, and but that's not that important.
We love the literal names.
We we like to keep it simple, and life was pretty simple.
Solid
It,
name. Yeah.
maybe 10 days ago, a young man came to the village, and he inquired about buying a piece of land. He mentioned that he was a wizard, and that he wanted a place where he could pursue his studies in quiet, and he was going to build himself um a well, he didn't say a tower. He basically said a little place for himself.
Cottage,
I don't know the words that he used.
hovel,
It was,
shack,
yeah,
House.
small building.
one of those.
Barn? Could have been a barn.
It wasn't a barn.
I can see that. I
Yeah,
can see the problem now. He didn't have a vocabulary. Is this what you're? Does he need an education?
maybe. And he looked like he looked the part of a wizard. He had robes. He looked like he hadn't eaten in a month, and well, he seemed kind enough. Name of what was his name? Nathaniel Baldriff, I believe he said his surname was. And we did have some land, and he had coin. So he paid his coin, purchased the land, and he had a structure built by the masons and some outside laborers, and some in town, within a couple of days. Actually, it was really fast.
Hmm.
It seemed kind of odd because it was circular, but unlike you normally see circular things might grow to be towers, and well, this was just one layer.
Perhaps he is a collector of fine art.
Perhaps I don't know. He did have a rather thick book. I assumed I've heard of such things of wizards having spell tomes and such. It seemed very heavy, and it had
Exactly hides the book on her hip back behind her back.
it had a really strange name. The first one was Codex, and it started with an A, a Chronic
Articus.
Christocara, blah blah blah.
Arcana?
Abracadabra.
It may have. I was trying not to pry, but he seemed like a nice lad, and I didn't want to impinge upon his privacy.
So
And
what led to from roundish structure to he
well,
just kind of motions at her like
therein is the problem. He was there for a few days, and he didn't really venture out. I had taken to bringing some food to the door, and he would just ask that I knock and leave the food there. And the next day, the plates would be. I would come back, and the plates would be emptied. It looked like he had been eating. Several days later, a young woman came inquiring about him. Gemma, I believe her name was. Gemma Madsen.
yeah, we've heard this one before.
Um,
Is there a painting?
So that's what I figured. He's probably an art collector.
I I don't know, but she seemed really interested about his whereabouts. Uh, Pretty young thing. She was uh, she seemed close in age to him, and uh, I thought maybe that she had followed him here. Um, didn't seem to harm. She didn't seem there seemed nothing off about her. So I pointed, and she made her way to the wizard's tower as well. Well, not tower. It
Dark
wasn't a tower that
seductress.
wasn't a tower yet.
Right.
Um, the next day,
Wizard's hut.
the structure
Cottage.
doubled in size overnight with no work being
Like
done.
like size as in width or in height.
Height. Where there was once one level, seen one level, it now looked like there were two. Did I mention that the structure has no windows? Has a
No,
door.
but well, yeah, I assume the door because you said you left food by the door. Um, is it? Did he turn her into a tower?
I don't think so, but everything's possible. We
No,
have
I've
not.
heard a story kind of like this, but there's no doors on the tower, and the woman at the top that got stuck in the tower has to throw her hair out, and that's how you climb into the tower.
Well, that's just poppycock. There's no such
Seems,
hair as that.
seems fantastical.
Yeah.
I said it was a story.
I would have said
Oh,
I would have said that story was weird myself, except for the fact that 3 days later the tower was now had to be. One of our people estimated it was some 60 feet in height, and still no
Something
work had been
tall.
done. Still no windows,
I think we should go forth and see if there is evil about.
or
and
at
and
least some form of tomfoolery.
and then on the seventh day, um, things started changing like
Oh, I
this.
see.
Um, one of our rows of vegetables had all been turned into cakes on sticks. Uh, um, some of our cows are now giving. Well, it doesn't look like regular milk, but no one is willing to try it. But it
Zekli will try
looks
it.
it looks like it might be chocolate milk.
Zekli will definitely try it.
Uh,
I'm sensing a flavor motif here. Are you
and
feeling Are you feeling eggplantish?
And the area impacted seems to be widening. And well, if the tower keeps growing and the area keeps widening, I don't know where it ends.
Hmm.
I heard another story kind of like this, where it was an old witch in a gingerbread house, and if you ate her house, she stuffed you in the oven and ate you.
Horrible.
We must find whatever you're reading and take it from you, because
But they're fun stories.
these are store, but these aren't stories.
They're
These
idle,
are
idle fences.
right. And my grandfather always said, if you spend all your time reading, then you will never cut an orc in half.
Well, I
And
don't want to cut an orc in half. I want to read, and uh, my entire being is reading. So
it's not. It's a euphemism, okay? Um, it means something else.
Right.
Is the
And
I
it's,
don't think your
term?
dad's as smart as you say he is.
no, I was his grandfather.
That was yeah. That was my grandfather. My father, he took he took a few
Blows to the
troll
head.
clubs to the head. Yeah.
Yes.
By the end of it, he was walking funny. But that's not the point. The point is, Miss, I just have this weird question, and I don't want you to take it the wrong way. But does your
Oh,
hair
don't worry
taste
about
like
that.
licorice?
I was thinking something along that line.
I was thinking cotton candy.
I think she looks like an eggplant. No offense.
I think it's really weird that you want to taste my hair.
I think that's
Oh no
rude.
no no no, not myself personally. I don't even like licorice. I'm just wondering if your hair is
Don't like licorice?
no. It's a root. Roots are in the dirt,
Natural.
and that's
Yeah.
gross. Um, no, I'm more worried about are you turning into candy?
I I don't think so.
It may be a euphemism.
It could be a euphemism. Because an eggplant could be candy, I suppose, in some senses. Um,
Zach, we would like to try and move silently
Okay.
and lick her hand to see if she tastes like.
And we begin.
Roll
that's
dex check for me.
uh, okay. We've managed an eggplant.
18.
You move silently. That's,
Very silently,
Slide of
trying
tongue.
to not to be noticed. Just
she
does
jumps
she
up.
taste like
What?
candy?
No. She actually does not taste like candy. Um.
Nope,
Uh,
doesn't taste like candy.
Oh, well, that's
what
a relief.
the what I what was
Yeah,
that?
Scientific inquiry revolves around proving theories, and I just proved this theory that we were having wrong.
I think Northwest
right.
asked the wrong one of us to keep an eye on the wrong two of you. That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah.
I'm watching you.
Moving on.
Tyro's standing there, and she just goes,
Yeah. Moving on.
I,
So,
no,
Miss, you're not candy. So
no,
that means that your food and animals are candy, but you are not, which means you're vegetables,
Did she
which
taste
then
like
means
vegetable? Or did it just taste like salty skin?
as how she tasted.
Yeah.
yes.
Did it just taste like salty
Salty
skin?
salty skin.
Nope,
Okay.
she just tastes like a human.
Oh.
Yep.
wait a minute.
Tastes like
Wait a
well,
minute.
Tyrella
like a
goes like,
humanoid.
A human. How
hmm?
do you know what a human tastes like, Zachary? I don't think we've had this conversation. I
I just like myself, and she
think you
just like
should
me.
pray.
I mean, there's any number of ways of knowing how humans taste. You know that.
Well, there was that one winter that I got stuck up in the high
Okay.
passes.
So what might be the problem, Miss Abigail?
Right.
Actually,
Right.
well,
the actual problem.
at this point we haven't seen the wizard in more than a week. We have not
Yes.
seen the young woman since she went to see him, and we need the tower to stop growing, and we need the land to stop changing.
You wish us
You
to
know
go
what this
speak
means,
with her.
guys? I saw this major image show once, and they sang a song, and we're off to see the wizard.
Oh,
Well,
well, that's
and
very apropos.
his last. I do have a wonder, Miss Abigail. Has there been an influx of well, how to say it?
Wizards,
M magical
wizards.
uh like magical
Wizards.
reverberations from the tower, like waves or anything like that.
Well, wouldn't
Magic isn't
would
felt like
would
that,
would, would, would
Taggart. I think you've been lied to.
wouldn't our vegetables being turned to cake and my features, my skin turning purple and my hair turning whatever this is count
Well, no,
as?
maybe I don't know. Did it all happen at once, or was it in bits?
Uh,
She said that it happened and spread as the tower grew.
yeah, as the tower grew and the it seems to expand out from the tower, and one night it
Oh,
reached me, and I'm this.
I see.
It's not a bad look. I wish to assure you, it's
I
different.
mean, you
It's
almost look like
original. It's
candy, so yeah, it's
a
not
little
bad.
eggplant, but
Well, I've never
it's
seen
really the
eggplant
The
that
point
coloration.
is,
Really
we
the
that
take the
coloration.
job.
shiny.
We need the money. We take the job, right?
Oh, how much money? Did Abigail say
Well,
how much? Is this
it's
a
a
paying
mud
job?
town, so I don't
Is
know
this
that
paying
there's
in
a.
cake?
Um,
I will take payment in cake.
well, I mean, we can certainly bake cakes for you. We can
It
try to
doesn't
put
sound like you
together,
have to, dear. We'll just pick them out of the garden.
or there's that. The wizard himself. If he's in trouble and you save him, I'm sure he'd be able to offer you a reward. If he's doing this on purpose and you have to take him out, well,
Smash them. Mm.
you've got a wizard's tower, and at the very least, I know he has
Then
gold.
we can rob him. I like this plan.
There were
Well,
no
now
robbing. We
it
will.
won't be
Well, if
robbing.
he's
It'll
not alive, he won't know we're robbing him.
Well, it wouldn't
again,
be robbery. It would be
that would be
redistribution.
that'd be looting, which is not the same thing as robbing.
Okay,
So,
we'll be
Redistribution. The
looters
church is
then.
involved. The church is involved. It's redistribution. It's simple as that.
we loot, then we redistribute. Yeah.
No, it's not. We don't use that word, Taggart, in the church.
You don't redistribute?
No, we don't loot. A lute is an instrument in our faith. Close your eyes and do this, and just leave it. Good, good.
Simply wants to try and Ferris while he's
What am I
praying.
supposed what am I supposed to do after I
You're
do
to
this?
meditate upon the virtue of the human spirit for
The
as long
whose
as you
spirit?
wish. You don't have to hold it for too long.
Well, which spirit? Human spirit?
Or the individual,
I
the
rolled a
humanoid
natural
spirit,
20.
the demi-human spirit. If you, oh man, I don't know if I'm gonna. Yeah, I got a
That's a total
5.
of 24.
What were you doing with that roll again?
I rolled a
Robin.
dexterity roll to loot from Ferris to prove that it can happen and it's religion.
Uh, Ferris, all that meditation has
Yes,
lightened your burden by the
yes.
by the sum of whatever your coin purse is holding.
My entire coin purse. Um, I'll let you know how much that is when I find my coin purse.
I have nothing written
Oh,
down for my coin
well,
purse.
you have lightened my burden of all 39 of my gold pieces and 4 coppers, you horrid thief. And should I find out about it, there will be reprimands galore.
All right. Well, I've meditated on a human spirit for some time. Miss Abigail, I'm not really worried about you paying me. You have suffered enough. what I think is most appropriate is what my great great grandfather often called the opportune performance. And it had something to do with, and I'm paraphrasing, because it was longer. It had something to do with when opportune comes, you encounter it. So
It was longer than that.
I
I
I'm
believe so.
pretty sure that you're just talking gibberish at this point, Taggart.
I think it runs in
Well,
the
I was
family.
paraphrasing it. Now, don't get it wrong. I was paraphrasing it down so that I could understand it. If you're missing out, then that's just your own paragraph.
To
Okay,
summarize, I believe what we're being paid is goodwill towards helping an individual in distress,
a
or
town in distress.
yeah, but the reward sounds to me as if it may have to come from whomever it is that we rescue, or that we are redistributing the wealth from the tower should we have to whack the
You know,
vile.
I knew what this was called. This is an LOD, loot on delivery.
You
That
can't
is
call
what
it
we're
that, Taggart.
doing.
I've explained this to you.
No,
Looting
you
does
don't.
happen in your religion, see? And she'll hold up your coin purse and hand it back to you.
This looks just like if
I
you
That's
do
just
think
this
proving a
again,
point.
I
that's
think
not
she's
looting,
proved your point, or her
that's
point.
robbing. And if
Right.
you
We need
do
to
that
kill him
again,
first if we loot him. Um,
redistribute.
read this.
So I
Yeah.
should have kept
Well,
some
you
of
did.
what.
Actually, you have proven my point, Zach. Well, you have proven my point. You redistributed my wealth back to me. Well done.
Okay.
I'm not sure that's
Anyway,
how that works, but okay.
Miss Abigail, if you will, I think
Lead
we've
the
got the
way.
job.
We will take
Yeah,
the job.
we've got, I think, enough to go on. I have a bright shiny new sword that I'm anxious to um
No, Taggart, we don't need to
perhaps.
go in immediately thinking violence.
I'm not thinking violence, just a solid a palpable hit. That's all I'm looking for.
If warranted. The hit may not be warranted, because if it is, I'm willing to give him a smack as well, but we have to temper ourselves. Remember your
Right.
meditations.
Oh, and Miss Abigail, just for my continence, uh, there is no painting involved that you know of.
Painting? No,
No,
none that
no
I'm aware
painting.
of.
Okay,
We
good.
have a
All right.
bad time with paintings. Ugh.
It's an old scar. Not so old, but it's old. Um, right. So I think we should be off. How
We're
far
off
is
to
this
see
town?
the wizard. And Zekwe just leaves without having any of us.
We'll catch up to her. She's very short legs.
But we don't know which direction she's heading in. As Miss Abigail, I believe you will be leading us the direction. Is that correct?
Yes,
I
yes.
do only have 20 movement, so I'm sure you will catch up with me very
Taggart will
quickly.
simply pick you up and point you in the right direction, I'm sure.
Uh, I need to fix that. I thought for some reason I thought Zekwi was a gnome. My bad.
No, it's the halfling.
I can make that adjustment. That's fine. Uh, Tyrella, after watching this entire exchange, looks at the three of you and says, I think I'm going to join you on this mission. I may regret it, but I may not. This looks to be very interesting, and well, you look to be a little short-handed at the moment.
You want to see
Was that
cakes
a
in the
short
garden.
joke?
Hmm.
No.
No, short-handed. So that would be like if your hand was short.
My
Um,
hand is short. And she puts her
no,
hand up to Dagger's, and it's
I believe it
like,
means if you had one hand when two would be more beneficial.
no. And Zekwe, your hand's not short. All of you is short. So
okay,
one
that's a
part.
short joke.
No, all parts of you are short. So no one part of you is shorter than the other.
Okay, I think I get it.
because you can't
What
be
does he?
all of something and one of the same thing.
Tyrell's like, okay. Um, so with that, the it doesn't take long before you are on your way. And it also, it's about a day and a half travel when she tells you that we're getting close. And you realize that things are getting rather bad when you find yourself standing at the edge of what you know and what there is in front of you. Where you are now, the sun is in the sky. It is its normal burning ball of fire. The grass is green. The trees are full of different uh, different types of leaves. There's animals running all around. The ground is a brown dirt trail. Um, Not more than 2 feet in front of you, you look, and as you look and see the sky, the sky goes from blue to a rather soft shade of pink. The grass is now a deep blue, and the brown dirt now look to be silver flagstones.
Exactly licks the grass to see if it tastes like candy.
The grass tastes decidedly like grass.
Nope, that's not candy either.
No, but we
Uh,
can say for a fact that the grass is greener on this side.
This is true.
From behind, at the back end, you hear a, oh god.
well, I don't think that's a fair comparison there, Ferris, because the grass is only green on one side.
In
It
this
can't be
instance,
greener if it's the only green.
it's
I
greener
think it
than
can
the
still be
blue.
there's it's a bluish green.
Yeah,
It's like a teal.
That's no, that's blue.
it's
Um,
blue.
and there's a point where you hear Tyrell exclaim, "By the gods!" And she walks up and she points towards what had originally looked to be the shadow of the cliff behind that Abigail had mentioned. You realize that there is a tower there, and the tower makes its way all the way up, where it finds itself disappearing. The top of it seems to disappear in some dark red clouds.
That
This
is disconcerting.
The
That's
stone of
very
the tower
large.
itself, as your eyes focus on it, interestingly enough, does appear to be normal color, gray colored stone.
Mhm.
So it exudes the magic, but it is not the magic. But it is magic.
Well, it might exudes the magic, but I think the problem here is that I think that little maid that came in and found the wizard, I think she's a wizard, and I think this is what happens when wizards, uh, wizards make towers,
No, I
you
think you're
know?
thinking too basic, Taggart. I think that she is an evil unicorn.
An evil unicorn. Is there a good
Unicorn.
unicorn?
What if she's a unicorn centaur thing?
Hmm. Would the
Predisposed.
would the horn be on her forehead?
Disposed. Hmm. I think we should find out. Shall we move toward
Right.
the tower?
First, I
Yeah.
want to try this milk to determine if it's chocolate.
Right. We got to test the cow milk.
You're going to harass the cows.
No, I'm just
No.
gonna get the milk that they've already collected from the cows.
Right. Although if it's
I didn't
from the
see.
cow, isn't it gonna be like warm?
Mm-hmm.
You've
Mm-hmm.
never drank a fresh milk from a cow? It's very tasty.
Right, but
Actually, it's
isn't it
chocolate.
warm?
Mm-hmm.
Then it's just like hot chocolate.
It's
Oh, well,
like
I
warm
okay.
chocolate. Yeah.
I don't see a bad side to warm or cold, I suppose. All right then. I think there was a saying somewhere in my family about that, but I don't remember it.
I
Something
have
to
to
do
say, when I woke up this morning, I
with
did not think
cold
that I
and
would be
hot
saying goodbye to
and
Northwest and then also be drinking fresh chocolate milk from a cow.
that is a strange thing to think. Yeah.
Mm.
Abigail says, "Well, you hope it's chocolate milk."
And if
Well,
it's
I'm gonna
strawberry,
test it. And she starts walking again, having no clue where the town.
Right. Let's head for town and see if the other people had been turned into eggplant candy.
was the town closer or is the tower closer?
The town is there comes a point where there's a slight change in the trail. The trail diverges off to the left. You see heading towards the tower. Off to the right, you now see at kind of a lower level. The ground slopes gently to the point where you can see the buildings of the town. The buildings of the town have all changed. Some of them look like they were made. Some of them almost look like a bird put together a nest in the shape of a building. They look like pieces of straw with other things thrown in that makes a building. Some look like a giant pile of grass that just grew on top of whatever structure was there. There are people wandering about, uh, all various colors, and some of them seem to have extra appendages. There is a lot of confusion. Some are just sitting there on the ground, staring into the middle distance. This is a town that is very, very disturbed by current events.
Like I said, cutting an orc in half.
Zekui imagines this is going to be very obvious, but she wants to cast Detect Magic as she walks into town to see what is actually magic and what's not.
And Ferris shall proclaim the protection of Foltus, and that the representation of the church is here, and that we will get to the bottom of this too.
And
Uh,
Taggart will draw his bastard sword.
That's brandishing time.
Zekri, as you cast Detect Magic, everything everywhere illuminates. As a
Yep,
matter of
it's
fact,
all magic.
as a matter of fact, the only thing that don't show up as magic is all of you, other than
We're
what other objects you might have on you that are magical.
we are
Yeah.
anomalous. I don't know how long that's gonna last though.
Abigail shows up as magical.
All right,
Mhm.
let me try this chocolate milk and then to the tower.
All right, let's find a cow. Um, I suppose just one will do. Where exactly do I cut?
No, Taggart, that's not. Zekui walks up to where they have very obviously put milk into jars and pours herself a cup. This is the milk already. It comes out of the cow's udders, and you gotta go like this.
I'm gonna let the die decide whether or not this is what you hope it is. So I'll give you a 75% chance it is what you hope it is. Yep, it is chocolate milk.
She takes a big old gulp and has a chocolate milk mustache.
Oh,
Well, Abigail, rest assured, it is chocolate milk, and it's very tasty.
All right, well,
she looks at
I
you and she
guess
says, I can't determine whether you are the bravest person I've ever saw or you have absolutely lost your senses.
Moss
So
Mother
happy to
tells
drink
me
the
that
milk.
it's better to be crazy than boring.
Uh,
Also, if they can't tell, then they can't uh like choose what you're gonna do. You know what I mean?
mm.
Also, Zekwi, that is completely the
Surprising.
opposite of what Foltest teaches.
Right,
Well,
but this
Moss
doesn't.
Mother is my deity, and Moss Mother says that we must try all the things.
Okay, well, I don't have a god to tell me weird shit.
Have
Um,
you heard of Foltest?
uh, Almost every day I've been with you, yes. Um,
Absorb. Absorb it.
yeah,
Remember what I
I'm
told you.
right. That felt weird and wrong,
Good?
and
No, not wrong.
I don't have to do that to talk to Moss Mother. Moss Mother is in my head.
right, and
I
she's
would.
nuts, and you're crackers. So, I'm just gonna go with let's go to the tower.
I'm not crackers.
No, 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 you're nuts.
Nope, I'm not that either. I taste distinctly fleshy.
There are two nuts I can see right now on your head.
Hmm.
They're
No,
acorns.
acorns are
No?
nuts.
Are they? No. Oh, they're corns. My apologies. I'm sorry. I should have known that. My fault. Anyway, let's head to the
And my
tower.
crackers, by the way, are holy wafers. I will have you know.
Right, and they are drier than salt
You
pork.
haven't even eaten them because I have not permitted you to partake in that part of the ceremony yet, Taggart.
I might have
Tyrell
snacked a
goes,
bit.
gentlemen, could we focus on the real problem at hand?
Amen.
Right, the tower. All right. I'm gonna go break the door down.
No, well, no, let's not go so hastily. Let's try to knock first.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna knock with
Zekwe's
this here
already at
sword.
the door knocking.
Out of the way. I'm gonna
She,
knock with my sword.
hold. First of all, Zekwi moves way faster than you said.
We
Is it
just weren't
one?
paying attention. She just went off.
I
Uh,
think that's part of the technique.
Exactly. As you arrive at the tower itself, um, it's almost got a sense of vertigo when you looking up at exactly how high, and you're you're looking at the ground and how it feels beneath your feet, and you realize that there's really, even though engineering is probably not your forte, you find yourself kind of surprised that this thing is actually standing upright because the ground feels like it's softer than should be able to hold something of this size. It's just everything about this just feels wrong.
As she's knocking and trying to stare up as high as she can, she falls back on her back, staring up. I don't think this tower's gonna stand up very well, or at least it shouldn't. And there's like a big puff of the ground around you when I
Oh,
fall.
I'll help you up.
it looks like the tower's won. Um, so it's time for the sword
I,
I
I,
made.
As you knock, Zekwe, um, a piece of the door kind of fades away, and suddenly there's like looks like a metal grill where the wood was in the door. Not that large, but it's about circular in shape. And you hear a voice say, yes, can I help you?"
We are here, and Zekwe's still laying flat on her back. We are
I
here to
tried
figure
to.
out why all of the things are changing out here in not good, well, some good, but not all good ways.
Well, what she means is the master or mistress of the house available?
Also,
What?
are you fornicating in there, and is it causing all this?
Well, that sounds like a question I would ask. See, you are coming along, Taggart.
I'm sorry, no solicitors.
No, no,
Um,
no, no, not solicitors. No, no, no. We're investigators.
oh,
Also,
and you hear the voice as if the head turns says, they say they're investigators, and there's a definite female voice saying, "Just send them away."
Oh no,
now,
Well, we know that they're working together now.
now, just one shrew minute. Um, if the lady wants us to go away, then we will go away. But the problem is, if we go away now, when we come back, we will kill you.
Well, now we
So
don't have to be so. What he means is with kindness. Is that Gemma, perhaps?
Uh, yeah, yes. I'm sorry. Who is this?
I'm
right.
Brother Ferris of
Yeah,
the Church of Voltus, but I'm here as an emissary from the surrounding um, settlements around the countryside, the kingdom itself, some may say, would literally the church. But we're here to. There are some things going on out here that you and Nate may be involved in, and we would wish to speak to you about them if we could, please,
your
face to face.
fortification is fortifying this here area with all
There's a
kinds of
possibility, Taggart, but we'll
kinds
save
of
the sermon for
weirdness.
the. We have to save the sermon for when they're over the threshold. Save the sermon for when they're over the threshold
I,
Uh,
I,
wh-
I,
which threshold? What service?
of the church. It's a
I,
Oh,
metaphor. It's a euphemism.
I
oh,
must object to this interruption of Nathaniel's studies. It is very important that he finishes those studies. Um,
Hmm.
do you have to do this now?
yeah.
Well, if you were to take a look out the circle in your door, you may see that the environment has been radically modified from what the local
People
residents
have extra
prefer
limbs.
would
That's not
prefer to
supposed to
have.
be a thing.
That's one aspect of it. Indeed, the cows are giving flavored, sweet, candied milk. The gardens are growing cakes, which is not necessarily reprehensible, but it's not nutritious on par with what the people need. It's beside the point, really. The fact of the
Now
matter
it
is that the grass is greener on the other side, and we really need to speak to you.
also um if those cakes are carrot cakes, then that doesn't count as vegetables. So
Well, they may be zucchini cakes too, or
you can make
breads.
cake with zucchini?
It's
Well,
very
yes,
tasty.
it's delicious.
I feel like that's a euphemism.
Nope.
Then literally, at this point, it's
It makes it
literal.
much more moist.
Now that's a euphemism.
That is a euphemism.
Right.
You hear
We're
Nathaniel's
in.
voice.
Nathaniel needs to
You hear
come to the
Nathaniel's voice
door.
says, it sounds like they aren't going to go away. What should we do?" And she says, "Just let them in."
There it
And
is.
the circle suddenly disappears and goes back to wood, and the door opens into darkness.
I will cast
All right.
light into the room.
As you cast light into the room, you see that the room appears to be perfectly circular. In the center of the room, and you don't see you do see a what appears to be a wooden roof based on the light. You don't see any sign of any staircases anywhere. There is no apparent method for reaching the upper floor. As a matter of fact, there is not much in this room at all, other than
How do
the
you guys reach the top of the tower? Because the tower is very tall.
there's no one there with you.
Now, I will say,
Now,
Do I still have detect magic up?
there is the only thing that you see in the room is in the center of the room is a large what looks to be a rather large cylinder, maybe 5 feet to maybe 5 to 7 feet in diameter, that goes from the floor to the ceiling. It seems to be glowing a like a sky blue and has almost a cloudy look to it. Around the cylinder is at what first appears to be a table, but on the table you notice that there are what look to be wooden boxes, some of which have buttons, some of which have levers on them, and there does not appear to be any rhyme or reason to them. Going in a complete circle around the cylinder.
mhm,
Well, okay then. Uh,
Exactly. What does the Moss Mother say about sticking your toe in that light, the cylinder?
Well, there's no holes in the cylinder. There's boxes with buttons and levers, though. I could. And she starts pressing buttons and pulling levers.
You all walk in.
Yes. Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Yep.
You all walk in and Abigail does not follow you. She's wants nothing to do with the tower. Just to be clear.
Yeah.
Why, she's a veteran.
You all walk in. Exactly. As soon as you press one of the levers, the door closes and disappears. You're now in a room that has no entry, no exits. As you press other things, uh, the cylinder starts to glow, and you see the sky blue and the cloudy thing seems to start moving in almost a swirling pattern.
I'm gonna guess that somehow we use this to get up to a next level. Zequi's gonna touch the pillar as it's moving.
The pillar is warmed. When you touch the pillar is warm to the touch.
Nope, nothing yet. Pushes some more buttons.
I will add that Ferris is able to automatically detect hidden doors, or if searching actively at a +1.
Okay.
And I don't remember the difference, but I will use that ability to search.
Go ahead.
No, I got an 8, 9. I don't think it's going to be even. I don't know. Let's see. What skill would that be? What skill would that be, Rob?
I believe it is a wisdom check.
So 8, 9, 10, 11.
You do not find any doors of any type, hidden or otherwise.
There are no doors of any type, hidden or otherwise.
As you, Zekwi, as you start pressing buttons and pulling levers and things, and you're like going about things, you start to hear there. At first, it feels like almost a vibration. Then you start hearing a voom, 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 voom.
Zequi's finally going to take a minute and try to do an arcane magic check to see what all this might be.
Give me an intelligence check.
15.
You do sense that the levers and buttons are definitely having a magical impact.
They're doing things. I just don't know what they're doing.
Now, perhaps slow down, and to try a few.
As she keeps going, the you start to hear the vroom 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 vroom. The light, the swirl starts getting brighter and brighter and brighter to the point where you need to avert your eyes and then eventually close them. When you open your eyes, you find yourself standing in a field. In front of you, there's a path leading to an intersection. The intersection, or basically another road going perpendicular to it. That's the actual intersection. It's not a four-way intersection. Down to the left, when you look, your eyes follow the pathway down to the left, you see what appears to be some kind of obstacle. It may be a barrier of some sort. You can see that there's writing on it, and beyond that, everything appears to be completely dark.
Well, I did something.
As you look to the right,
You did.
you see that there is, in the distance, there appears to be a dark foreboding-looking forest. But before the forest, before you get to you would get to the forest, there seems to be a giant mushroom with a big red cap with
I vote we go for the mushroom.
something lying on top of it. So there, like I said, sign to the obstruction, structure or obstacle with writing on to the left, giant mushroom to the right, and then further to the right, there is a dark foreboding forest.
What is this? I'll observe the sign. Or the
Dagger's gonna
writing.
walk over to the mushroom.
Zekwe's going to the mushroom.
You two are
Okay.
out of your mind if you're going to approach that mushroom so quickly. There's a sign here for
Uh,
poultice's sake.
As you walk over to the sign, what languages does Ferris speak?
Ferris happens to be familiar with Common, Elvish, Dwarvish, Goblin, and Gnome.
So it does look like a barrier. There is it looks like two soul horses with wooden planks run across it. There is and basically wooden boards leaned up against it, and there's writing in Elvish across it. And as you and when you look beyond, the backdrop of this is the darkest dark you have ever seen. You've been in pitch dark, and this is still darker than that. There's just in Elvish, the words start to glow as you read them, and it says, "It's the end of the world as we know it, and we're not fine."
Elvish wisdom makes me shudder. Nothing to see here, and I trot over towards the mushroom.
As you walk over to the mushroom where Zekwe and Taggart are standing, they're sitting there gaping because there is what looks to be a rather large black dog lying on its back. Basically, its legs and splayed out, and its tongue just hanging out the side of its head. You can see that its belly
already
is
trying to climb the mushroom to go pet the puppy.
you go all right.
Well, now, Zach, my grandfather always said, "Don't climb trees," and I think this would count as a tree after bird, after a bird or birds. I think it's after bird.
But it's a
Uh,
dog. It's a puppy.
I think the rule remains the same. It's a
I got
mushroom
a
with a dog.
21 dexterity check to climb the mushroom.
It's a dog on a mushroom, much like a bird on a tree. So,
Taggart, this one is all wrapped up in this imaginary goddess of moss and mushrooms, so I forgive.
I
The
think
moss mother is not imaginary.
Oh, did you hear
she
that?
was she was halfway up before I got my full.
Yeah, that happens a
Speech
lot.
out,
I'm
so-
going to be honest.
Exactly. As you go to pet the thing, you hear Tyrella as your hand touches the thing. Maybe we shouldn't. And the dog's hind leg starts twitching a bit, and you hear, "Oh, yeah. Oh, that's it. Good. Squirrel! And it suddenly jumps up and what? Oh,
I'm not a squirrel, but I'll pet you.
excuse me. You seem to have interrupted my nap.
Well,
what-
you
what-
seem to be in a magical tower in a magical field in a magical exuding town.
A magical tower. You see the dog looks about.
We were in a magical tower, and then I pressed a bunch of buttons, and we got here.
Oh. Huh. You're off to see the wizard, aren't you?
I am.
You were
Yeah.
right.
The dog sits up on its hindquarters.
Are you Toto?
Toto. Do I look total?
No, but you never know if they get it wrong in the interpretations of the stories that they show in the major images.
She's talking about that thing again, Tiger.
Yeah, I seem to remember that Toto being didn't they were they were a bard group, weren't they?
You know of these stories? I have not understood a single thing that
No,
Zachary's spoken of
I seem
Well,
to
do you
regarding
want
remember they
to
this.
help
were.
us figure out what's going on with this
I,
magical tower, magical talking dog?
I, I
Also, you a bard?
I am not a bard,
Oh, I think this
sir.
is
Oh,
lab.
And the dog
fair.
reaches behind him and pulls out a bag with one of his paws, where you see his paws the almost extend a bit as if being close to fingers. Reaches in the bag, pulls out a hat which he puts on his head. It pulls out a pipe, proceeds to light the pipe, and takes a long pull of the pipe.
Oh, now that's just cruel. I gave up tobacco almost a month ago.
I
I,
rather think he's a fascinating dog, though.
I am Maticus J. Muttley, at your service.
Atticus, do you want to go on an adventure?
No, no, no. I was perfectly content to be sitting here dreaming of squirrels and pets, and I thank you for the pet. I just wish I had been awake
He
when the
keeps scritching behind his ear by now.
pet.
Zekwe, perhaps we don't.
Consent is a thing, you know.
Uh,
And he suddenly realizes he still has a pipe in his mouth.
yeah.
He said he wanted to be awake for the pets, so I gave him
No,
more
I
pets because he's awake.
now I know, but like he's also what we call in the adventure business the talking dog that tells us what we do next.
Are you gonna tell me a story? And Zekui like gets all cross-legged and comfy and
This is where the stories come from.
A
I think
story.
so. What?
Do
No, just where do we go from here?
well,
How
well
would the dog know where we're going?
that depends.
The
Uh,
dog with a hat and a pipe.
do you prefer long walks through haunted woods, or do you prefer snacks?
snacks.
To be or to have?
That
To
was my
be or to
question.
have? Yes, right? Yes.
Right, right. To be or not.
To be or to have? We have to
No, it's
raise
to
our
be or
voice.
not.
So,
It's to be or not
to be snacks.
being.
There is no try.
Nope. Is
Well,
do or do
he.
not.
I suppose I could share if you are if you would prefer snacks to the haunted and to be fair, I would prefer the snacks myself. I mean the haunted forest is not all it's been cracked up to be. The trees really uh, get kind of edgy when you relieve yourselves upon them, and the squirrels just have attitudes. So it's just no one wants to deal with
I
that.
mean, I'm sure we're gonna have to go through this haunted forest to get to wherever we're going, anyways. But I'll still take snacks.
Oh, no, my dear. No, no, no.
No,
You
no,
will not.
Zekwe.
You will not need to go through the haunted forest. I promise you.
Okay.
And he pulls out out of his bag a smaller bag, and as he unwraps it, there's a little ribbon that he undoes, and he pulls out, and you see that there are three what appear to be chocolate chip cookies.
Please. I'm the only one that can see these.
Oh,
But
wait a second. I'm
cookies.
sorry. There are four. Ma'am, I did not see you. And he pulls out a fourth one.
Oh, she came with us after all. She
Tyra,
ended up with us.
Tyrella ended up with you.
Right.
Yes. See.
Tyrella, you feeling any handification right now?
Well, eat the cookie first.
Zekui
I'm just-
already has eaten half of hers and is climbing down with your cookie.
Zachary's already eaten half the cookie.
Mhm.
Zachary, as Tyrella takes one of the cookies, Zachary, the dog is getting larger.
Is this like that other story where I sure
Shrinking is not an option, I don't think, for you, Zekwi.
I
Is
mean,
Zekwi getting smaller?
Yes, Equi is getting small.
Oh, darn it all. Well,
so
Taggart, we have a problem.
yeah, we do. We're gonna have to
Stop.
kill the dog.
No, it's Zekwi is shrinking
Right, which
even
means the
more.
dog's no.
Oh,
Gonna,
and the dog, upon listening, says, "Oh, don't be so melodramatic. Have a cookie."
uh,
Well,
eh,
does
Zekwi
mind
wants
if
to
I do?
look around and see if there's any now her size hole that she's supposed to go through to get a
As a
shortcut.
matter of fact, as you're looking at the rather large mushroom slash toadstool, you see that there is a door at the base of the stem
Eat the
in the
cookie and
toadstool.
go through the door. And Zekwi's knocking on the door.
What did she say?
I didn't hear it.
No,
I
it's
heard.
really high.
Dog,
It's very high pitched, Zekwi.
dog. If I eat this cookie, are you gonna eat me?
Oh no 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 no!
What kind of question is that, Taggart? The dog wears a hat and smokes a pipe.
Which only means
Sir,
two
it would
things.
be entirely too much work to peel that armor off of you. If
I
I
have
was
some
if I was
armor
going
as
to eat one
well.
of you, I would have eaten the little one already. Come
Well,
now.
that's fair. That's fair.
I'll look around
Um,
for a cookie that no doubt has fallen into the grass.
What do you think
yes,
I
where are
am?
the cookies?
A big
Oh,
smiling
I'm sure
cat?
that all three of them fell into Tyrella's hand as I started to
Oh,
shrink.
a
And
cat.
Ty's
Nah, if you were a
now
cat, we would have just killed you.
wouldn't
That's
have
that's
bothered
just
with just
Uh,
not acceptable.
Yeah,
and you would have been right to do so. The cats are
right,
evil, I must say.
right.
They do
Also,
put themselves.
a smoking cat. There's a very long held saying amongst the adventurers
Probably
that
too
a
long.
smoking no, it's the you know this one, Ferris. It's the smoking cat
Is
is the
a
um
sign of the devil.
I was gonna say mouthpiece of the devil.
No, I don't think it had anything to do with the devil. More
Uh, Beelzebub.
like a smoking
Mephistopheles?
cat is better than a cat in the hand, something like that.
Smoking cat is better than a cat is
I mean, if you have a cat in the hand, it's just gonna scratch you. Knock, 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 knock.
The
I still can't understand a single thing that
Maticus turns to
they say.
Ferris and says, is he okay?"
Oh, he's just full of one-liners that go on and on and on.
Right.
Yes. He learned them from his family. It's not his fault.
Also, Ferris, one-liners don't go on and on and on. They're one-liners. They have one line.
My friend, do you listen to
They're
yourself?
therefore, well, no, that will be my son's job.
It's
Zekwi
called
comes
it.
over and takes her now miniature staff and slams it down on Taggart's foot to get him to hurry up.
King.
Y'all hear that?
Well, okay, I still can't understand.
Tyrella hands Ferris the two cookies and for you and Taggart, and says, "Yes,
Doing this.
I for my own sanity, I think I'm going to eat this cookie now." And she eats the cookie and is suddenly standing next to Zekwi. Whoa, this is
I
trippy.
It's a little disorienting at first, but it's kind of cool at the same time. If they don't hurry up, I'm gonna go through that door alone.
I'll look at my cookie and I'll look at Taggart and say, Tyrella is losing her composure and conservatism, making me look like a radical.
yeah. I should have something against something so literarian as eating something that changes my size. But I suppose when in Greece,
Eat the cheese.
that is not chocolate chip. That is raisin.
Oh, you got raisin. Maybe you go up.
No, he does shrink.
Oh,
You talk too long, and the chocolate chips turned into raisins.
oh, that's
Not
a
how that
dirty
works,
trick.
Zekwi. It's not how that works.
Well, I'm
Raisins are
going through the door.
grapes.
I knocked and
And she
nobody
goes.
answered, and so
There's
he just opens.
and there she goes. I told you, Taggart. She's much faster than we thought.
I think it's just I am so small. What is how does this work? I
Well, you're still large compared to me and much larger compared to Zekwe.
Right, but I am
Well, let's.
confused by this. Oh,
I think ours is not to ask questions, but to go through doorways.
Zekwe's already through the door.
well, we should follow
Case
her
in
before
point.
she presses any more buttons.
I will say Zekwe is quite an educator. She's constantly demonstrating the fact, modeling the.
Proving my theories, you hear from
Right,
inside the door.
right.
And her
I
hearing
think
is
she's
outstanding,
she's got incredible hearing.
incredible.
Um, yeah, I just think she's a little bit mossed, if you know what I mean.
It seems to come with the territory. Well,
I'm not
shall
sure
we?
I'm
In
not
why it
case.
lost. I know
hasn't.
exactly where I am as long as Moss Mother's in my head.
Oh, see,
Yeah, I
the
don't think it
hearing's
has
not
anything.
perfect
Not perfect, right?
at a distance.
Also, I don't think it's the dirt. It's the
Moss.
moss.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which may be exactly you proving the theory. Oh,
There it
hmm.
is.
As you open the door, you find yourself looking at a hallway that there, there there's a warm rush of air that comes from the hallway, and the air that you're breathing in has there's a freshness to it. There's also a feel of like a bit of moisture to it. It feels it feels like a very different climate from what you were experiencing out here.
It's a sauna in here. Woo!
Yeah. I
Disgusting.
am lobstering in my pants.
Is that what they call it? It's
I don't know how
slippery.
many. That
You
lobsters are slippery.
No,
I
no,
mean,
I feel slippery around the buttocks in that area.
well, there is a river in the valley. Yeah.
Yeah, that is an excellent metaphor, not well, or a euphemism, whichever you prefer.
I don't know what
as you
you're talking
walk,
about.
the hallway suddenly just like opens up, and you find yourself at almost as if you just suddenly appeared in what kind of looks like a jungle. There's a lot of vegetation about. You can hear a lot of bird song and things rattling around in the underbrush. Um,
This may
often,
be just as foreboding as the forest was.
off in the distance, you see what looks to be the tower.
From a distance.
Huh.
Wait a minute.
No, I think I remember this now.
Really?
Now it's the same thing as those great image things, but it's one of the ones that was the guy that the guy that grew up or woke up, and then there was another thing there. I think so that's what that is. I think we
The beanstalk?
well, was it
I
a
have no idea what either of
beanstalk?
you are speaking about.
I think it was some sort of well, I thought it didn't make beans.
Let's look at this empirically. We ate a
Zekwe's gonna
cookie.
sit down and open one of her books on magic and see if she can't figure out what the hell is going on.
Zach, we look for shrinking and small doorways and
And
fungi.
raisins. Yeah, definitely
And
raisins.
and
I
hmm,
have
the
a feeling that
distortion is
dog turned it into a raisin.
no, that may not have been a reason.
Ooh, that's really good. So on an intelligence check for arcane studying quick to see if I can't figure out what's going on, I got a 24.
You're nice.
24, you
Oh,
find that you recall and find a section in one of your books that talks about certain tomes of forbidden magics that could reshape reality in unexpected ways, and some of them lessen the doorway or lessen the barrier between realities. One such one such book is known as the Codex Anachronista.
I found what Abigail was talking about. He has the Codex Anachronista, and y'all, it's bad. He's
Hmm.
I thought we
distorting
decided it,
reality, and we might crash into another reality.
but
And
I thought we discussed that it was abracadabra.
that
We
no,
did discuss
no,
it.
she
Yeah.
said that that could be what it was, but that's not what it was. But it's forbidden magic is the takeaway here.
Well,
The
it certainly
only
isn't helpful.
acceptable magic is the magic of fullness. We don't call it magic. We call it divine inspiration and influence.
Right.
Magic is real, and this magic is bad. Is all I'm
No,
saying.
all I'm
Right.
saying is
Okay.
all magic is bad. After
Well,
a fashion. Sorry, Tuck.
I, I'm I'm just realizing that the two of you are two sides of the same coin.
I'm heads.
Well,
Zekwe starts turning in a circle trying to see if she has a tail.
I do believe I do believe I've stumbled upon a discovery. Well, all right then. Head and tails as it is. We are.
Does the book give me any indication on how to get through to this book wherever this wizard has it? Because it's most certainly either the wizard or Gemma that is doing this
Oh, it's
with
Gemma.
It's
a
both of
bad
them.
book.
The one thing that it says is just keep following your way to the wizard. Hold to the thing that you know. The hold to the thing that you know to be true.
So we
Follow
have to
that path.
continue on
Follow
to
that path,
tower.
and eventually you will find your way there. So, in between, one of the things that you notice as you look further upon the tower is that there appears to be a rather large field of tall grass separating you from the tower. Extended out onto a branch just above the tall grass, there looks to be a man basically spread out over the branch with a bow and an arrow knocked, and he does not appear to be moving. He's very, very locked in.
Is he like,
Zekwe would like to cast invisibility.
is he using the branch for support with his aiming? Is that what he's doing?
No, he's just seems to be laying out outstretched on it.
So he's, oh, okay. But he's prone,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
which
Zekwe is
would,
moving towards him invisibly, and they cannot see Zekwe.
I'm not sure where your tail went,
I don't either.
Ferris, but I'm gonna cut me a path through this tall grass. I've been waiting to use her, and she's just sitting here in my hands, so I'm gonna cut some grass.
I'll follow your lead.
As you cut the grass, from behind you, you hear the man say, "You best be careful in there."
Oh,
Zekwe is trying to climb the tree and come up behind him.
oh, hail, friend. I am Ferris, a brother Ferris of Church of Foltis. Who
Right,
might
he's
you be?
long-winded. I'm just
I'm
asking
long-winded.
what you're
And I'm
saying.
right behind you.
Right, and that's the
He
Exactly.
turns
You're
and looks
very
behind,
loud.
and what was that?
that's just that Zekwe don't mind much her but what are you saying? I'm cutting through grass and you're telling me to be careful. What's
You're also being
what's
long-winded.
what's to be careful? Well,
Uh,
I'm trying to explain, Ferris, and your explanation of who you were took longer.
I,
So,
my name, sir,
What
is
did you offended by
Balgoon.
that?
I,
Ooh,
I am, uh, well, I am a hunter.
right.
And, there are things in that tall grass that, well, if you're going to make your way, I would highly suggest you run.
I have
Well,
little legs.
well, if I cut the grass, it's no longer tall.
Uh,
hold on. I think we're missing the point entirely. Balgoon, as I said, my name is Brother Ferris, and we're trying to get to the tower, you know.
yes, yes. Right,
Are
the
you
tower
saying we
over
have to?
there.
Yes,
Right.
is the
So I'm
only
gonna
way to
cut
get
me
to
a
the tower.
path right through
Well,
here.
Taggart, you're gonna have to run.
I do not know. I would never go to the tower.
Whoa. Oh, why
And
not?
what
Well,
not?
there are things in the tall grass.
But no problem with the tower itself.
It seems fine as far as towers go. I, I prefer the
Zachary would like
outdoors.
to pick his pockets while she's invisible behind it.
Go for it.
Ferris, you have to understand, Ferris. He is one of them denizens of this here weird reality. He's not gonna want to go through towers or none such things because they're denizens of the reality.
I got a
Oh,
dirty 20, by the way.
You,
Balgoon,
you,
what
you
sort of things are in the grass?
so as you do that, I need you to give me a wisdom check.
This is a prime.
Okay,
16.
16. As you pull his coin purse away, you see him turn to his side, and at first you think that he's noticed you, and you realize he's not looking at you. He's looking at something just off to his left, and you hear him say, "Oh, clever boy."
Is it something in the grass?
And just as you pull your hand back, a giant lizard looking type thing, bipedal, leaps
I told you we were off to see the lizard.
and closes its mouth upon him. Hold on.
Oh,
Oh
so now this
man,
is our fault.
one of my favorite characters.
And you hear him cry out as the branch snaps. The thing in his teeth, you hear a crunch, and it drags him into the tall grass to the right.
Right.
Well, we
Oh,
found out what's in the tall grass, but I got his coin first.
well done,
What do
Zachary.
I get money-wise from his coin?
There's no money. There's just a pass with a T-Rex skull on it
And a raptor talon.
and
Uh
a raptor down.
oh. There
All
there
right.
there are 20 tokens of for use at Triassic Park.
Yes.
Okay. Well, thanks so much. We lost our guide. Hmm.
Well, he
But
wasn't much of a guide, Ferris, if he wasn't going to take us.
well, he technically
Frankly,
was a
we,
guide because he showed us what's in the tall grass. But
well,
I'm
Fair.
invisible, so I could just go.
your practicality, Zekwe, is
I'm going to start
inarguable.
cutting.
I can't fathom the
Tyrell is
degree
like,
of logic to what you're saying
shouldn't we just
perplexes.
run?
Yep, I'm running. I'm taking out my mace and I'm running. Shield,
Zekwe drops
mace, shield,
invisibility and
mace.
jumps up on Ferris's back since she has
Oh,
little legs.
But now I can't run and cut grass. All right. So just
just try running.
You used the sword. Just run.
fine.
Zekwe, look around. Look around. Let me know if anything's approaching.
Hey, there's bones in this grass.
Oh,
I'll
well,
be
there's
the
going to be
lookout
more.
while everybody else is running.
There's about to be more if we don't hustle, Taggart.
Um,
Maybe your sound of your
Zekwe,
armor will scare them away.
as you look around, you can see that there are two things in the tall grass where you can see the grass like moving out of its way, heading towards you.
We gotta run now. They're coming.
From where?
I'm
I'm
the
running
pointing
as
in
tower,
the
fast
two
as I
dwarf.
can.
directions. This way to
Toward
tower. This way for them running at us.
Right. To the
To the
tower.
tower.
Tally ho.
I want you all to give me dexterity checks.
Uh-oh.
Do I
Exactly
need to
two, or
do
just
one on friends back?
No, you do not.
Can I do the
Uh,
help action and like guide Ferris so that he gets
somehow get
advantage?
okay.
lighter? This is not a prime.
Yeah, not a prime for me either. And that was a 17.
12.
All right, you're able to move. You don't trip or anything. It's a little slow. And you realize that the two creatures are gaining on you.
Zekwe's gonna cast magic missile.
Good call.
I
I
have
continue
a
to
question.
run.
Did I completely get your character wrong? Is your character, or do you have a wand of, or you're
No,
are you
I
with?
have that as a because I'm just a straight up wizard. I'm not an illusionist.
How did I get your character so wrong?
I don't know.
I'm telling you, this is a fine professional production that we have going here. Only the
You
best
ate the
for.
cookie. You ate the cookie.
It was a
All right.
raisin.
So you are level what? Level 3.
Yes.
So I believe you get two magic missiles. You can have them hit one target, or you can have them one on each.
I'll do one on each.
All right. Roll 1d4 plus 1. I'll let you decide if you want to do 1d4 plus 1 twice, or just do it once and basically have the same roll for both.
I'll roll it twice. Because the first one's a 1, so I'm glad I said that. The second one's a 3, so that's a total or 1 gets 4, 1 gets 2.
You hear the missiles go flying through the basically go flying through the tall grass, and you hear a little bit of what almost sounds like a chirping sound, and the slightly high pitch as they continue heading towards you.
I think we gotta go faster.
I
Right.
can only go so fast.
I'll lag behind in case they try to attack, and I will whack them.
Give me another set of dexterity checks.
Oh no.
Oh, shite. 4.
Okay.
This nice
That's
bit.
15.
Okay. As you're running, you reach the edge of the tall grass, and there is maybe another 30 feet to go before the tower. However, Ferris trips, which is at the point. Zekwe, actually, now I need you to make an dexterity check.
Yeah. Ooh, 23.
You're able to kind of leap off of Ferris as he's falling and just kind of stick the landing, almost superhero style, one hand down, one knee down. But that's the moment at which you realize you're not going to be able to outrun them to the door, or at least Ferris is not going to be able to outrun them to the door.
Right. Taggart's gonna stop like at Varys's feet, turn around and prepare himself.
I shall also stand ground next to Taggart and tell Zekwe to run for the tower.
Right. I wanted to kill me a lizard. Let's do this.
You note that these creatures are they're not all that tall. As they pop in out of the grass, they're at most maybe 5 feet tall, standing on their hindquarters. They do have an elongated head with multiple rows of what appear to be very sharp teeth. Their eyes are small. The they're basically gray and green in tone. Look almost like scales on them. But you realize that they probably have the ability to just chop somebody in half with those teeth.
Let's see him bite through this armor.
So let's roll some initiative. Everybody roll D10. Ooh. And you are able to scramble to your feet. What do you call it, Ferris?
Oh, okay. Good, good.
All right. 10. 9.
Modifier.
No modifiers, just straight up.
Oh, okay.
Straight up.
Yep. 9. 8. Go for it.
Right. With a yell, Taggart goes forth. And he'll try to hit the one on the left.
Okay.
So he takes a mighty swing and hits a natural 20.
Nice. All right. Um. So that is going to be full damage plus roll your damage dice as well.
Right. Okay. Well, two-handed, so it's a D12.
Oof.
And I rolled a 12, so maximum damage.
So
Of-
you have a strength bonus.
oh, yeah, it's a +6 on top of the D12, so
So it's
30?
24 there. Whoa.
30 damage.
Tell me what that looks like as you basically one shot the creature.
So it's just one of those. He's like almost screaming, and just baseball bat swings, catches it right below uh the the backbone line of it,
Mm-hmm.
and just shears it so that the legs take a few steps forward as the top of
I
the
just
body falls down.
slides off.
Yeah. And then he turns around and looks at the other one. He's like, "Let's do this. Come on now."
Whoa. I was like, yeah, with the magic missiles. Yep, nope, that's going to do it. 7. On 7, the other one, not quite having realized what's happened to its partner, possible mate, goes after Ferris.
This is where
Ooh.
Hey,
pull the Ferris wheel.
That
get your
is
tail back here.
that is AC 21.
Oh, well, I'm not that awesome.
Ouch.
Oh, ow. I just rolled 2d6 and rolled both sixes. That is 12 points of damage.
All right.
I'm glad that wasn't Zekwi. Zekwi will be
All right.
down.
Yeah, that's 6. 5.
Me.
All right, go ahead.
Me.
I'm on
All
5.
right. I'm just checking a spell here.
First swing with that sword, nat 20.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yes.
I feel I have no better recourse than to return a blow for a blow.
I don't think that's what it's called, Ferris.
I don't know what you mean, but I'm feeling pain.
Right, it bit you, it didn't blow.
It's a figure of speech. Ridiculous.
Which figure?
13, 14, 15 to hit.
1 second. That's going to hit.
Or 7 injuries.
7 damage.
7 damage.
All right. You slash across, and its head just moves out of the way, and you You get it right across, kind of like on the neck or what would pass for
Clavicle.
clavicle. Go ahead, Zekwi.
Zekwi is gonna get as close to the door as she can, and if she can't get to the door, then she's gonna just use her action to dash and try and do what Ferris said and run for the tower.
Okay. Yeah, you make it to because of the fact that you're just purely running. You're able to make it. Tyrella swings. Ooh, and she's gonna hit. Actually, she doesn't swing. She stabs at it with her giant spear. And gets it just under where you slash.
Aha.
And the thing roars in pain. Let's roll initiative again. Ooh.
That's there we go.
Oh. Taggart got too excited.
That's a D8.
That's all right. My two die rolls were terrible. 10.
Don't. There were
I got 10.
All right.
Nice.
Zekwi is gonna try and open the door.
The door. The door. The doorknob turns. And it opens, and you basically find yourself looking into darkness again.
All right. Is that my? Can I count that as my movement, or is that my action?
I mean, you can move into the room.
Oh, because I was gonna turn around and shoot off the other magic missile.
Oh no, no, this would count as your
Yeah,
action.
yeah, that's what I was trying to get at. Zekwi will move into the room.
Okay. The door stays open behind you. Oddly enough, despite the fact that there is light outside the door, no light goes into the room. So basically, you find yourself in the oddness of being in a pitch black room while being able to see outside a door.
Zekwi will yell out, "It's really, really dark in here, so hurry up and kill that thing and bring me light!"
9, 8, 7, 6, 5,
No,
6,
No, 1.
5.
Oh,
What
Just
are you
let
on?
you know.
First, what are you on?
1.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Well, on 3, Tyrella goes and swings again. This time she staggers and misses with her swing. On 2, the thing goes to
Oh man.
bite Ferris again.
Ferris wheel.
All right. So, one thing that I forgot to mention. We are doing hero points and special hero points. You do start off with 2 regular hero points, which you can add on roll at the beginning before the die roll is made. You're also being given 1 special hero point because I'm a kind and benevolent castle keeper, and I say that because you can change a die roll, either yours or mine, after the fact, and you want to change that die roll because I just rolled a natural 20.
Ah,
yeah, we'll use that.
I'll
Yeah.
use a hero point.
All right, so your special hero point is gone. It's just regular damage. And this is already not as bad as last time. This time's only 4 points of damage.
Splendid.
I say that because you do not want these things to get a critical hit on you, and I'm not talking.
Oh.
And I'm not talking because of the damage.
Okay.
Because
All
they
right.
eat you.
All right, we are at 1.
Bitey.
if you insist. I am going to cure light wounds upon myself.
All right.
Staggered and heaving my breath, I lay my hand upon my chest and heal myself for 6. 6 points.
All right. Taggart.
Taggart will run up and does he get? I don't remember if there's flanking rules.
Yeah. Hold on a second. Let me take a quick peek because I actually have. I did pull up the CK guide for that. The screen for that reason. Um. Yes, +1.
+1. All right. Oh. Yeah. Uh. So that's a 26 to hit.
Did you roll an at 20 or
Huh?
does a 26 to hit straight up or you rolled an at 20?
No, that's total to 26. Yeah.
Roll your damage.
Human fighter, baby. That's the way to go.
Yes, it is.
I feel so
Okay.
weak.
Well,
So
it
do
helps
I.
that
The funny thing is the fighter is very good. The fighter is only really good at one thing, but what he's
and
good
this
at,
is it.
he's very, very
Very
good
good
at.
at.
Yeah. So that is 14 damage. Uh, as I bring it down on the back of this thing.
And as what do you call it? As Ferris is there laying hands on himself, the thing crunches to the ground, falling basically right at Ferris's feet.
And there's just a big grin on Taggart's face.
There's a big grin on Mayface too.
Yeah, you got some
Guys,
you
the
got
light,
some
maybe?
Oh, of
one
course.
sec. Ferris
Yeah.
has some holes in him.
Tyrell looks at her. Do you need more aid?
Yes, please. I think I have a rib sticking into my lung.
I well, you at least are no, that's a kidney bite. That's in the kidney. That's
7 more points of healing.
Oh, thank you.
By the
Thank you
way,
so much.
if that natural 20 had gone through,
Yeah.
bones get snapped.
Fudge.
oh
Yeah.
oh.
Zekwe would have been screwed with her 9 HP.
Whoa.
I'm glad
Uh,
she ran.
I'm feeling
9
remarkably
HP.
better.
9 HP is how much HP I got with my third level.
Yeah, I'm only at 3rd level and I roll a d4, I believe.
She quite literally, for these things, is a snack.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I will bring light over to the room
And walk
to,
in and
yeah.
oh, there was some.
If there's those, there's more, I have no doubt.
Once
Do you
again,
feel manly, Taggart?
as you all walk in,
I
the
do.
door closes and disappears. The cylinder this time is now a shade of orange. It almost looks like an orange creamsicle. You
I
see
don't.
that there are knobs and levers. The knobs and levers have changed. They're all different things.
If the pillar looks like a creamsicle,
Yeah.
go and lick it.
I feel
It's
strangely
licking a free action. Is one
Licking
of
is a
my
free
mottos.
action, yes.
feel strangely drawn to this color. As
Uh,
though yeah,
sadly
so it
enough,
promised greatness.
it is not. It's only an orange creamsicle in looks, not in flavor.
It tastes like stone.
Well,
Actually, it tastes very. It doesn't taste much of anything. It's very smooth.
It tastes like smooth brain. No ridges or
brain?
lumps, no valleys or bumps. Everything just slides right off.
You,
That has
I
to be
feel
it.
my world is greatly enriched simply by knowing exactly I'm not going to lie.
I'm almost certain that that's a saying somewhere in the Taggart line.
Well, all I know is when I was up in the cold mountains, brain was the tastiest.
Hmm. Fair.
I'm going to be
Are
honest, the
you
point
gonna
of
push
reference.
buttons again, or is that a
Oh,
thing?
oh, it's a thing.
Why, I just don't. Zekwe's
I
licking
will
things.
sit down and actually look at them first.
all right.
And
Well,
she'll make an
progress.
magic check to see if there's something pointing to the correct order or certain thing that she should hit.
Make an Arcana check for me.
That's a 19.
As you're staring at the knobs and the levers, and now you see some of them are buttons, and it occurs to you just to start pulling and thing and going around the thing, and it just feels there's a rightness to it that appeals to you. You feel like you're understanding. You don't on some level that's not even really clear to you. You understand how this works, and you're going to the rest of the party. It looks like Zekwai's just doing random stuff, just throwing levers, pushing buttons, and every once in a while, yeah, ha! Looking up the creamsicle cylinder starts glowing and throwing like colors against the wall, and again it starts. You hear the sound, vroom, 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 and there's an explosion of orange light, and this is where we're going to take our one and only break.
Okay. Good call.
Thank you everyone for hanging out tonight. I hope you are enjoying this offbeat adventure with these offbeat adventurers, because you know we are going to take a quick break. Let's call it 7 minutes. Be back at be back at 10 after.
Okay.
Very good.
Oh, mics are live, so feel free
Okay.
to talk to the audience
Ah,
if you'd like to.
I'll be back. I see people.
See,
All
dead
right.
dinosaurs.
Oh man.
I do like knowing that my full ultimate crit damage is 30 damage. That's just wonderful.
That's yeah, that's something.
That almost one-shots me. Like,
That's twice what mine is.
That's a lot more than Zekwe's.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because I was thinking about that. It was like, have you ever, Tim? Have you ever had the chance to play Dragonbane?
Yes,
I
I
have
have.
not, but
Okay,
I've wanted to.
I've
Dragonbane.
watched a lot of it.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thing in that there is not a lot of health, and things even characters can throw out a lot of damage. Like my character, the character that I have, can put out a lot of damage. I mean, because there's no real levels. Your skills expand and such, and
Hmm.
you can get more hit points, but it's a very slow process. You only get them one or two, and basically you're giving up other things to do it. So it's like I quick and deadly would be if there's too much combat. That's for sure.
Yeah, I've played a couple, well, a few sessions in over in Guild Superior in Shadow Dark,
Mm-hmm.
which is I had a dwarf uh fighter with a great axe who got eaten by zombies in one he got hit 4 times in one shot, and they all hit, and they all did enough damage that he was down instantly and got
Yeah,
chewed apart by zombies, and it was like, oh, okay.
I have my character. I've done the session zero. I have not yet had a chance to play a game because things. Let's
Right.
go back to the screen. All right. So quick reminder,
I'm
and
quickly eating apples and peanut butter, so if I'm muted and forget.
it's all right. I've seen people have been doing it, but we do have a giveaway from Trollord Games for a $10 gift card towards any digital product. So basically any PDFs available from their online store. Exclamation point ticket to enter,
Nice.
and we'll have the drawing at the end of the session. Troller Games is a sponsor of this channel and creator of Castles and Crusades, as well as Amazing Adventures, which the new printing is going to be out. Well, we're getting there. We're getting there. And I plan to run some Amazing Adventures because being able to do, this kind of game with in any time period, just so much fun. All right. So, um, as Equi goes and uh, gets the machine going and the sound gets louder and the room gets brighter and then suddenly you find yourself closing and then opening your eyes and you find yourself on a forest path. It feels like a spring day. The air is maybe maybe a tad chill, but there's a breeze that has a bit of warmth to it. This doesn't strike you as the haunted forest that you had heard of. There seems to be nothing amiss here. There's no sense of foreboding. As a matter of fact, I know Ferris has. Ferris, you have a listening bonus. Give me a wisdom check and add your listen bonus to it.
Actually, I don't think I have a listening bonus, but
Uh,
I have silent movement.
okay.
Sorry.
What what
Oh,
what what race is Ferris?
nobody else realizes it, but he's half elf.
Okay. Why did I think they had a +2 to their listen? Maybe it's
Well, that's a 19 on the die.
all right. Well,
21.
you can hear as you're standing there. You can hear what sounds to be rushing water. Maybe not very loud, but maybe a babbling brook, a stream, maybe a stream of some sort, and there's the sound of laughter coming up from up ahead as well.
Oh, shh. Ah, there is laughter ahead, just over the sound of the running water.
Is it children or creepy laughter?
Is there a difference? I'm not certain.
Yeah. As my great great grandpappy always said, when a child laughs, it's as an angel sings. And when a
Hmm.
creepy child laughs, it's as though a bog comes to life.
Well, where I come from, children are to be seen and not heard.
Wait, how do you?
Just behave. But in this instance, I am not entirely certain.
Well, I suppose
Let's
we should
approach with
find out.
caution. Well, with caution.
Well, I'm gonna do a bit of a Moss Mother move, which I'm starting to call MMM, and and he just starts walking,
Uh,
just heads off.
considering that
I would have just Tyrell stands there and just says, "I would have just called pulling a Zekwi."
I am going to arc around to the left, perhaps centered more on the where I think perhaps the center of the sound was coming from, because Taggart obviously doesn't know.
Mm.
But I'm not going to go marching in there with the rattle can tin pan man that he is. I'm going to take my time and stealthily move so that I'm undetectable.
Zeku's gonna go invisible.
All right. Um, yeah, Tyrella just looks around and shrugs and follows the along the path with as figuring probably best to try to keep Taggart out of trouble, though she finds herself doubting her chances of doing so. Uh, Taggart, because you take the most direct approach. You see ahead of you as the path straightens. There is indeed a what appears to be a quickly moving stream, and you can hear the sound of the water as it hits some of the rocks from on either side of thing where it basically runs across, and the path ends on one side and then continues on the far side. There is a there is a wooden lot, or rather, actually, a fallen tree going across it. Standing on the tree is a very large man with very, now that you think about it, a very, very hairy, large man who has a quarterstaff in his hand that he is, one end is down in the water. You better grab it. You better grab it. I ain't going swimming after you again this time.
Uh, Ho there, friend. What manner of beast or man are you? Hmm?
Uh, the you hear a voice coming from a tree on the far side, and you see what appears to be a young male in maybe 16 years old. He could be older than that. You're not entirely sure. Looks rather slim. His vestments are all a dark red. Hey Tim, we got company.
Zeku is sneaking around towards where the voice is coming from, ready to climb a tree.
and you hear the man turns to you and says, 1 second, sir. I need to do something first. And
Ah,
you see he takes his hands, both hands on the quarterstaff, lifts out of the water, and there is another man, maybe in his mid to late 20s, sputtering, coughing. Tim. That water is cold. Could you be a little more gentle next time? Sorry, Bobby. I don't know my own strength at times. You know. Bobby, we have company. Billy's already seen them. And this one turns with a big smile to you. Ah! New people! What brings you our
uh,
way?
um, well, mostly a tower, and a wizard, and his fornicating wizard woman, and a rather suggestive flagpole, if you would.
Fornicating, eh? Well,
I
now,
believe so.
that sounds mighty interesting. Uh, I'm guessing that you're going to want to head down this path down yonder then.
That would be the acceptable move, yes.
Well, all right. So, this bridge,
Uh-huh.
is our bridge, and we have a toll. And now, mind you, we are very accommodating to newcomers, and we don't like to be really pushy about things. So we offer a choice. It's either 5 gold per person to pass, or one of you has to be able to knock Tim off this log.
Zekwe, still invisible, is going to sneak up behind Tim and push him in the water.
Ooh,
That's gonna be a physical feat.
yeah. Just so you know, he's very large.
Can I try and take his legs out with my staff?
Sure.
Do I need to roll to sneak up behind him first?
If you're invisible, no.
Okay. My strength is a -1, but that's a natural 20.
You'll hear a thunk, and he goes, "Gah!" And timber, all puns intended, and a giant splash as Zekwe is suddenly standing there with a staff, with a very self-satisfied smile on her on their face, and he looks. The one who announced himself as Bobby turns and says, "Well, that wasn't. But I. Well, all right.
I mean,
Nope. A deal's a
I
deal.
won the game. Let's go.
Bobby, was it?
Yes,
Uh,
Bobby, be good.
Interesting. Uh,
I'm often not, but
right.
this here's
So,
Tiny Tim, and
right.
that's Billy the Red over there.
Billy the Red.
Yes,
Hmm. Okay. Just a quick check. This is a toll bridge, yes?
yes.
Okay. Um, whom are you serving as the toll keepers?
Why us?
Oh, so it's just some gobbly foolery.
Hey,
Gotcha.
hey,
All
hey,
right.
hey! Listen, we cut down the tree, and the least we can do is make some gold out of the fact. Otherwise, you'd have to try to swim in. Listen, this brook. Oh, wait a second. Hold on a second. Excuse me. And he
Yeah, you
puts his
gotta.
staff down, and
Yeah.
at which
Tigger's gonna
point
walk by him.
Tim just stands up
Right.
Which one of them? And,
Zekwee waves.
I'm hustling to catch up.
and the look on Tim's face is just like, huh. And suddenly he turns, Billy, not a word from you, or you're going for a bath.
All right. Um, Bobby, I, I'm not sure it's fair that just Tim goes in the drink and he's gonna shove Bobby or attempt to.
Go for it.
Strength is my guarantee.
I don't think either one of you are who you say you are. You're both goblins. Chaos
Uh,
goblins.
Chaos
I have the
Goblins.
tattoo to prove it.
That's a 16.
All right, that's going to hit.
It's just shove into the
You
into the
shove
drink.
him, and as he like falls off the log, Tim catches him, smiles, and then dunks him.
That's what I that's what I thought there, Tim. It's nice to know that there's good folk around.
That's what he gets for continually volunteering me.
That's right. All right, Zach, let's get off this log here before it breaks underneath us.
Zekwee jumps on it. I don't think my weight's gonna do anything.
Well, crack. I think my weight will. Let's get going.
Zekwee weighs all of 30 pounds.
My gauntlet weighs more than you.
Oh boy! All right, and with that, you move across the log, and it isn't long before you find yourself staring at the tower again. Um,
Here we go again.
you look at as you look at the tower. This time, you notice the top, the way up there, is no longer covered in clouds, and there's all kinds of light arcing from the top of the tower, as if things, something that you did not notice even with the clouds. You figure you would have seen something. This is just streams of different color shooting out everywhere.
Well, A, that's not good. But B, we gotta keep
That's
on going through all these stupid levels of this stupid tower. And Zekwee's starting to get annoyed and it starts stomping.
right. You know, Zach, I'm not so sure this is levels of a tower so much as dreams of a man.
Well, they're intersecting realities in ways that they're not supposed to be, and he's messing with shit he shouldn't be messing with, and I'm gonna
Well,
smack him.
all right. Well, I don't know what intersection means, but it doesn't matter. The dreams are they're just stacking up, and that's what's making the tower go up. So I think his training is something to do with either A, reading them books you read, which are full of them crazy stories, or the the dreaming bit.
Question: are there any windows on the outside of this tower, or is it just smooth?
No windows whatsoever.
I was gonna suggest we try and climb up the outside, but then we'd never get in.
Yeah, no, we just gotta keep going the way we're going, and we'll get through it.
That's what
Um,
we were told.
it
I
Zekwee's
was
gonna
believe.
my
start running because she knows she's gonna have to run to
Oh,
keep up with their long legs.
there she goes again.
it was my great grandpappy who did say that the longest way is often the way. So
Well, that answers a lot about the history of storytelling in your family.
The longest way
well,
to the end of the story is the way.
well, that's not a story, Ferris. That's what we call wisdom.
And emphasizing the whiz. Anyway, Zequi's
You know,
getting away.
as a matter of fact, I mean, I haven't taken a whiz in a while.
You
Off
could
it
probably
goes.
take a whiz and still catch up to Zachary while she runs towards.
I don't know.
I
Zequi
don't
gets
know.
there
I don't know,
fast.
Zachary. I don't think you've ever tried with this here plate mail on.
I
There's
fully
no
imagine that there's a little like hinged
there's no
door.
trap door. There's there's no zipper on this.
Nice, Asher. There we go. Oh boy. All right.
Right.
Um. So yeah, you find yourself standing in front of the tower. Um. The door once again is there in front of you.
Here we go. Open.
And again, um, the room is actually not dark this time. The
Hmm.
room is bathed in a weird red glow. Again, you see levers and levers and knobs and um, more buttons and what appear to be some switches. Uh, there, the cylinder is still there. There's no swirl to it this time. It just looks like a straight up red color glowing, bathing the room. One thing that you do notice that's different is almost from directly in front of you on on the circular table surrounding the there is what appears to be a crystal ball on a small pedestal with several buttons in front of it.
Hmm.
Zachary's gonna walk up
Hold
and
it.
do
Hold it.
another
Hold it.
arcane magic check.
Okay.
She's being more careful now. It's not that she's learning a lesson, it's that she's getting pissed, and the more mad she gets, the
Mm-hmm.
more carefully she goes. Dirty 20. And it is a prep.
Okay. Um, you look at the buttons and you realize that there suddenly you've come to realize that there are runes inscribed above the buttons. One of them says management. One of them says front desk. The other one says emergency.
So we have three options of some sort of conflaggled message spell. We've got reception, emergency, and front desk was the third?
Uh, front desk.
I'm about to just slam down on emergency, but I will take peanut gallery euphemisms first.
You're asking if somebody else wants to
Yeah,
hit the button.
I'm basically hovering ready to mash down the emergency button,
Oh,
but said that I would
perhaps.
take peanut gallery euphemisms first.
Oh, I was simply going to suggest that you contact the front desk.
One vote for
Well,
emergency, one for front desk. You're the tiebreaker.
I have a bad feeling about this red color. It seems sinister and in its Vader-esque sense. Uh
That is an
We're
interesting
climbing a
word.
damn rainbow.
oh, is that what we've been doing?
Yellow, orange, red.
Ah, Well, thank goodness you're with us. I would have never even thought of that. Well, then we are not an emergency. We just need to get to the next color.
I'll try
Is
front
there?
desk first then, and I'll press the front desk button. We can't hear you, Rob.
As you hit the button for front desk, the crystal ball swirls. It grows foggy, and once it's there, you before you even see the face, you hear a voice saying, "Yes, this is the front desk. How may I help you?"
Why does
And
a tower
you
have
see
a
the
front desk, first off?
you see the face of Maticus J. Muttley, complete with pipe. Ah,
Well,
I
hi, friend.
I I, I,
Oh, it's the dog again.
I see. I see you have managed to find your way to the tower.
Well,
Oh, that answers
third time? Fourth time?
Third time.
it.
That's quite
All
We're in
right.
the red
impressive.
room.
Oh, the red room. This is a very important room. I don't remember why, but it's a very important room. Probably because it's red. Red is one of those colors that scares me.
If you're the
I
front
never liked
desk,
red.
maybe you can answer this question I've never known. How is a raven like a writing desk?
How is a
Oh,
raven like a writing desk?
that's simple, Zekwe.
How is a raven like a writing desk?
Well, well, they both have bells on them.
Mhm, mhm.
He takes an
Some
inhale
wisdom.
of his pipe.
Let me cut to the chase, dog man.
Yes, my good sir. What?
How, where do you recommend we go from here? Is this an emergency sort of situation, or
Reception type thing.
Well, I mean, does it feel like an emergency or
Has there been any
frankly,
change in the pulsing of the red pillar?
no?
It doesn't feel quite emergency. It's just very, very red.
the whole thing's been more of a sort of an experience,
And
a
more
bit
of
of an occurrence,
a slow emergency, you might say.
a
Is it
developing sort of sense of foreboding.
right?
I'm just aggravated,
Devolving
which
for
is quite
forewarning. Yeah,
quite good for the red room. Red is aggravation. I feel like I'm vibing with this room now.
right. I'm a little afraid that this is our blood, and we're about to be sucked into a vortex of demonstration. You know.
Well, that does sound like rather an emergency. Then, I
Well, is it though? I don't know, because
does your blood being in a vortex normally a good thing, or I
well, I've never been near a copulating wizard pair, so I'm not sure.
well, for what it's worth, neither have I. But
I think I'm
I'm
off.
sorry. I must go. I have just seen a squirrel, and I must go give chase. So,
Right.
good luck.
Well,
And
Front desk,
the
my
Muttley hangs up
hey,
the crystal ball on you.
nothing but a hound dog.
I'll hit reception then.
Yeah. What? You hit? What? No, there's management and
Oh, management
emergency.
was the other one.
Management. Oh,
I mean, management should be somewhat straightforward.
it should be, but I have a feeling we're going to get that Gemma person.
Well, if anything, we should tell her to put her bar zero on and let us in.
And sure enough, Gemma does answer the crystal ball. Yes. Can I help
Oh,
you?
yes.
You can get
Right,
us to the top of this fucking tower before I slap you.
we're in the red room, and we need to get to you so that you can stop your Forbaster and of Nathan. Um,
Oh, oh, you poor souls. The red room, huh? That's a pity. I had such high hopes for you.
I mean, I'm not sure what high and I don't honestly, I'm not even sure how hopes get high, but that's not the point.
But frankly, we did
Uh,
cross the bridge without paying the toll.
we did,
Apparently, you got to cross the bridge without paying the toll.
Yes.
right?
Useless.
And I
Yes.
killed a couple of your little lizard pets, uh, nasty little
Poorly,
critters.
poor disposition.
You killed
Not
Tommy
well
and
trained.
Frankie.
Well, there was a third one, I believe, that it killed someone else. So,
Oh,
Right? Yeah. Which one was Tommy?
He was the cute one.
Oh, that was the one I killed first. That makes me feel a little better.
Zekwe would like to do another arcane magic check to see if there's something that she can do to Gemma through this goddamn crystal ball.
Go for it.
That's a mighty 11 prime. That's my lowest roll of the game so far, though. So.
Well, that counts as a high roll for me.
Um, no, not that you can think of.
Fine. Slams hand down on emergency.
But I wasn't that. And the call gets cut off, and you see the face of the young wizard Nathaniel, and his face is all sweating. You've got to help me. You have to get there as quick as possible before she gets back. She's almost done. I can't take much more of this.
Tell us how to get up there quickly.
And it'll all end.
Yeah,
We're in the red room. Tell us how to get to you without going through all the levels.
And he starts babbling out a bunch of stuff that makes no sense at first. Zekwe, I want you to give me an intelligence check.
That is a 21.
At first, it makes no sense to you whatsoever. And then the rest of you, as you're standing there, you're watching numbers and letters and lines and geographic shapes start rotating around Zekwe's head and just spinning faster and faster. Zekwe, you're looking at the control panel, and suddenly you understand how everything is connected. It's all one. You know how to move this thing. You know how to be where you want to be. You have everything at your fingertips. If only the circle would stop going around your head. And finally he stops talking and it drops. And suddenly you hear, "She's coming!" And the call cuts out.
Fuck yeah. We're making it to the top. And Zekwe will do whatever combination needs to happen.
You know,
That's the theme from Funky Town.
And you hear the red starts pulsing, and it starts going to an orange, to a yellow, to a green, to a blue, to a purple, and then back and forth, and the colors just start taking line after line, swirling around and around and around. The colors grow brighter, and finally, this time you don't even need to close your eyes. Everything just fades away. And you find yourself standing in a room, rather large room. It almost looks like, if there were seats here, it would almost look like a theater. There is a dais at the far end that is large enough, honestly, to be a stage. And you see steps on either side, maybe 4 steps on either side to go up onto the dais. At the top of the dais, there is
on a dais.
on the top of the dais is a circular table, behind which you see Nathaniel with his hands on a book, the rather thick book that we call it Abigail had described. There's a glow to his hands as they hold the book. His eyes are glowing, and behind him, you see Gemma with her hands to the side of his head, as if almost forcing him to look at the book. And you can hear his mouth moving. You can see, you can see his lips moving. You hear sounds, but they're almost unintelligible. But you can feel the magical power being released. Even though inside the room right now, it seems to be almost you're almost immune to it here, but you can still feel the presence of it.
Wizards in your forbicating just look so weird.
I would
And
like to cast magic missile at the bitch at Gemma.
all right,
First one is 3. Second one is 5. Woohoo!
the magic missiles fly forward, and they get within 2 feet of her and hit what looks to be an invisible barrier. You're aware enough
Fine.
to know that she probably has some kind of protection against magic missiles, and she lets go of Nathaniel, and you hear her say, and her voice gets kind of strange. You thought I was gonna fall? The magic missiles? I I taught this one everything he knows. Everything. Young Mr. Baldriff, he owes all that he is to me, even if he spurned me. And the young woman's visage fades away to a much older woman with a face looking as bitter as the sound of her voice, just hatred. And you can see tears going down Nathaniel's eyes. He's trapped against this book. I should have had the others finish you off. Maybe I still will. Let's roll initiative.
I don't quite understand what it is with this land of ours and just the absolute vitriol of some of these would-be witches. I don't understand it. My grandmother always said there were 3 types of women in the world, and 2 types didn't like the other type, and the one other type didn't like the other 2 types, and then there was the one type that mistaken the one type for the other type, and
Just
then
draw
there
your
was the
sword.
type.
Just draw your sword, Tiger.
Oh, sorry.
Be ready.
Oh my goodness. Hold on a second. Boy. All right. 10, 9, 8, 7. On 7, you hear words of power coming from Tyrella, and as she casts bless on the party, you all have a +1 to attack. 6. All right.
Taggart draws his sword, but has a spark of inspiration in his brain,
Mm-hmm.
and what he thinks is a spark of inspiration, and he ignores the witch and attacks the book.
All right. So you're going to basically, because of the fact that you're on the far side of the room, I'm going to allow this to be a charge because I figured you were going to. I kind of figured that's where you were going to go with this, and you will be open. You'll have a negative, a penalty to your AC on the attack, but yeah, go ahead.
Right. Oh. So it's, well, with the +1, thank you, bless. That's a dirty 20.
Nice. Your sword, I forget, is your sword a magical weapon?
Mm-hmm. It's that +2 bastard sword.
There we go.
And it is... Ooh. 15 damage to the book.
Ooh.
Aiming right for the spine.
All
So
right.
I miss his hands, basically. Trying to
Uh,
miss Nathaniel's hands.
that's fine. Let's see.
That's the title of this episode, Miss Nathaniel's Hands.
What I need you to do is I need you to make an intelligence check for me.
Mm,
This is going to be a saving throw.
this is not a prime for me.
You're going to want to use your 2 regular hero points.
Yeah. Uh, does that just add 2 to my roll?
Yep,
11?
that's not a prime.
No,
Okay. Hold on a second.
I believe Taggart's about to be scrambled.
You hear the old woman scream and a look of horror as she realizes what you're about to do. There's an explosion as the book is cut in two. You're going to take some serious damage here. Well,
I was going to attack the book with burning hands, so it's a good thing it was you and not me.
oh, that could have been a lot worse. 16 points of damage.
Oh, it's only
Definitely glad it
half.
was you and not me.
It's only half my health. I'm fine.
Yeah, it could have been the max damage could have been more than your health.
I'll I'll take it.
And suddenly you find yourself 10 feet backwards, lying on your back.
Worth it. Oh,
Nathaniel slumps to the ground, but he looks like he's still breathing. And the bloom is completely off the rose as far as the woman goes. She looks like your prototypical old hag. Her face is splotchy. Her skin's hanging in places. She looks like she may have some kind of disease. Just and there's a smell that penetrates the room. You just have the sense you're in the presence of one of the most awful people that ever existed. That was what on 8.
No, we were
uh,
lower than that. That was like
6.
7 or 6.
Oh, all right. Oh, that's right. No, yeah, that's because Tyrella did the bless
Right.
early. 5, 4, 3.
I
Oh
got
my
3.
God.
All right.
I got 3. I'll step up and I'll say, Gemma, Foltus commands you to sleep. And I will command. And she has to make a charisma saving throw or do what I told her.
Damn.
She looks and she says, "What do you think you're doing?" And she slumps to the ground.
Find her. I think that's all I can do. I'll move toward her though.
Okay. Yeah, you find your way. You find your way to her. Tyrella goes and checks on Nathaniel, and you hear her say some words of that you recognize, words of healing, and Nathaniel wakes up, and he blinks as he looks over at the figure. Crowling? Judith May Crowling?
That's about how I
and
feel.
he
Yep.
starts backing away.
Judas Crowling. That's right there how I feel. Oh,
I,
oh,
I'll be working on
oh.
binding her up.
how could I have been so foolish? I never want anything to do with that one ever again.
Well,
Well, you were
I
able to ask for help and you helped me get us here faster. So awkwardly
I
pats him on the shoulder.
I also think there was a bit of evil and sinful deception on behalf of this one who called herself Gemma.
Yeah, yeah.
It was an
Zach, we would like
illusion.
to do a arcane magic check on the two halves of the book to see if they're safe to touch or just cast burning hands on them if not.
Got
That is 19 on a prime.
yeah. You're not entirely certain they're safe to touch.
I'm gonna go ahead and cast burning hands on them to see if it'll. I'm gonna stand far enough away that hopefully I don't get blowback because it's a 5 feet range, and then
You cast burning hands on them, and the flames quickly take to them. And as they do, you notice that the each of the pages kind of like falls off and starts fading away, almost in like a pattern of glitter as and sparkles as they disappear. And the like at the end, as like the last of the pages happens, you just hear from Crowling saying, "No, no, oh, I hate this. I hate all of this."
I ain't exactly fond of it either. Oh,
With the
yeah.
last of the pages burning up and fading away, the room itself starts to shimmer, and you find yourself suddenly standing in an open field next to a cliff overlooking on a rise overlooking a village that suddenly looks very, very normal.
darn it, I should have grabbed some of those cake vegetables while I had the chance.
You know,
I feel the same way.
but I think this is a lesson well learned. Your stories, sometimes they're not so just innocent in their storiness.
I mean, there's lots of killing and death in my stories, so they weren't innocent to begin with.
No, but they demonstrate a point. I continue to learn the most ridiculous logic and reasoning that far surpasses my ecclesiastical instruction.
Maybe you should come to Moss Mother's side.
Well, also, what is ecclesiastical?
It's
Why
a
does it sound
religious
like it's
term.
your throat?
Well, because it's utterances and direction and
Oh,
teaching.
You hear Tyrella behind you giggling at that.
well, that does make sense.
The
Zekwe will walk up to Nathaniel and be like, all right, all the bad things gone. We saved you. Do we get any payment for saving you?
Yeah.
I will take payment in cake.
uh, he nods and he says, "I have I have some things." And he looks around and huh, hmm, oh, huh. I don't remember leaving that over there. And he walks over to the cliff and he where there's a large sack that he you find himself dragging over, and he reaches into the sack, and first thing he pulls out is a pair of spectacles that he puts on. Ah, that's much better. It's much easier to read this way. And looks in and
Maybe
says,
that saved you from a quicker death, though, if you couldn't read as well.
we'll never know. But it's an interesting thought. He pulls out a bag, and you can feel that it is full. You can hear clinking inside, and you can feel that it is full of coin. I hope this will do.
It's better than the 20 Triassic tokens that I got off of that hunter.
Yeah,
Crap.
your Triassic tokens are suddenly no longer in existence.
Oh,
Uh,
That'll do. I think you can thank us also by um doing a special favor to yourself and to those around you. Um, don't fornicate with no other wizard hag ladies and make a mess of things.
speaking of wizard hag ladies, is the wizard hag lady anywhere with us?
oh yeah, she's with you, and she's all tied up. You see the townspeople come up, and you find one. It takes a minute before you realize that is Abigail, and you did it. It's done.
It was this bitch, and Zach will walk up and follow through on the slap that she said she was gonna give her.
And you see her look over at Nathaniel, you poor thing. When was the last time you've eaten? Come. I will take care of you. And you see she just grabs him and starts ushering him away.
Now, what did
That's a
I
better
just
map.
say? No, I just said don't.
She's not a wizard. It's okay.
You don't know that. She turned pink or purple and
I'm gonna make an
green.
arcane magic check on Abigail.
You, you're reasonably sure she's not a wizard. You're not entirely sure whether or not she's a cougar, but that's a different story.
Don't worry, Taggart. You'll find your cougar someday.
Wait, when was I looking? I I don't think you were listening. When we find a cat, we cut its head off.
Different kind of. Never mind.
Tyro stands there and she's like, I could cast aid on him, but I'm not entirely sure it would help.
With
Yeah.
what?
Never mind.
Oh, all right.
You
Hey,
you, you
Agra.
go back to pondering the ecclesiastical.
Yeah. Yeah.
And with that, we draw this adventure to a close.
Congratulations, team.
Thank you, everyone, for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed the fun anachronisms all over. I hope you got all the pop culture references,
I
especially.
just think it's hilarious that I started with the pop culture references before you pulled them in.
Yep.
I'm like, all right, she's already. Yeah, they're already in the right frame of. They're already in the right frame of mind for this. Cool, excellent. We're good to go. Did you get
What's
the one?
even funnier is that I pulled off ones that you were.
The question is, did you get the one at the end?
Which one?
Who is Nathaniel and who is the hag?
I did not get that one.
I didn't get that one.
Nathaniel Baldriff, Judith May Crowling.
It might be something I don't know.
Oh, it's hitting something in my head. I've been playing Taggart too long,
Anyone in
dude.
the audience?
Oh,
Let's just say problematic. He owes her everything. Well, at least in her mind.
oh yeah. Oh man, it's there. It's just Taggart's brain is still catching up.
Nope, I have no clue.
You want the
The
answer?
Google
Okay.
doesn't tell me. Yes.
Daniel Radcliffe and J.K. Rowling.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was a
Okay.
little worried that was going to be two. And Gemma Madsen, Emma Watson.
Yeah.
I thought I was being a little too obvious.
Nope.
I have to admit, I'm pretty naive about the whole Harry Potter thing.
I wasn't putting Potter in
I
the
wasn't doing wordplay. I was trying to
yeah
think literal.
yeah.
And of course, you know what the tower was, right?
Foreplay.
The Chamber of Secrets.
No, no, no,
Yeah.
no, no. Remember, these are not. They're not all necessarily tied together in terms of the pop culture.
Oh.
You don't know what
Uh,
the. You didn't catch what the tower was. It was a
The
TARDIS.
Reading Rainbow.
It
Oh,
it was the
TARDIS.
it was a
TARDIS.
TARDIS.
Oh,
There,
Big,
there.
big, giant cylinder.
Mhm.
The
Yeah.
vroom,
yep,
vroom,
yep.
vroom.
All the levers and the buttons. Yeah, that makes sense now.
Yep.
That was the
Drew
I
one.
me
see
into
it now.
it.
You remember I was telling you how I had run this a couple of times before? The
Hmm.
second one, the player who was doing basically what Zekwe was doing was just going about it as if he understood completely, and it wasn't until like the third time that he suddenly is like wait, wait, wait a minute. I'm like, there it is. He goes, are we in a
To be
TARDIS?
fair, I haven't watched Doctor Who in years, so
Lee, were
I
you
did.
in that one in that one in person where Twy was playing the was the one doing the one down in Nashville?
The TARDIS
Uh,
did cross my mind when we went in, and then we were in the field the first time.
mhm.
So I actually did make that connection, but I connected it to the TARDIS, alleged TARDIS UFO that the government has in its possession.
Oh,
If you've heard about that's got it's like a 40-foot craft that's got the interior the size of a football field or something.
Yeah, I had to like change it up a bit so it wasn't like, so obvious that you're stepping in, stepping out, stepping in, and whatever. But it's like
right.
I was like I'm like big cylinder in the middle,
I
levers and
also
buttons.
will
We
only
got
get
distracted by the color.
the in front of my face references. And
Hmm.
this is why I think I need to get checked for
And
autism
and
because I take everything so
throw,
literal.
throw in some colors for Pride Month. We
Yeah.
got the whole thing going.
Yeah, I'm thinking I need
Yeah.
to run a Big Lebowski themed.
Oh man.
That's just like your opinion, man.
I saw this funny
This
TikTok today
aggression will
where
not
it's like
stand.
Chris Pine is just slowly turning into the Big Lebowski. Like he used to be all nicely dressed when he went out, and he's just looking more and more homeless.
Like the dude.
Yeah.
Like the dude.
Oh man. All right. Well, thank you so much to my players. Thank you for those of you who've been watching, I hope you've enjoyed the screwball antics of the party as well as the castle keeper. And yeah, so let's get. Well, I don't even know if there's anyone on to raid. We can try to find someone. It's only midnight, so there's still a possibility. But let us do the drawing. Exclamation point ticket to enter if you have not already. My players, you are more than welcome to enter.
I'll let the audience have more of a chance.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. So, thank you, Asher. I really appreciate that. All right. So once it hits 12:08, I will close the drawing and. Huh. Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. And of course, there's an ad break. Huh.
Oh, of course.
Gotta love the ad break timing. Hero Zone is on. Okay, maybe that's a possibility. All right,
Really have to write down all the taggerisms I've got.
closing the giveaway now.
I don't think the Taggartisms are recordable because I think Taggart just makes them up as it goes and attributes them to different parts of his family.
Oh yeah, totally.
Coco Bunny
Coco
94.
Bunny!
Awesome.
Yay.
Hey,
Coco is
congratulations.
in one of our one of my other groups, and that group is every bit as wacky. That's a group that got put together because of Gary Con, and oh boy,
That's a good origin, I think.
yeah.
One day I will make it to Gary Con.
I've got Gary Con on
Dude,
my list
Killian,
this time.
let's get there,
Well, I
right?
mean, if you want to meet me in person, Gary Con is the place to do it.
The
Uh,
only con I'm hitting it all this year was the one day that I hit Phoenix Con 2 weeks
I
ago.
am next year. I mean, Gary. I'm definitely going to Gary Con, and thankfully, Gary Con is just the 3 days or whatever, the 4 days,
I
and
would take that back. I
not the
am
full
going to
week.
an anime convention in August because it's cheap.
And and I'm also doing Page in January, which is down in
Oh,
Philadelphia. It's the second Page, so
Gary Con's in March.
March, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going, I just went to Kubla Con. I'm heading to Rage Con at the end of this month. Big Bad
I chose
Con.
tattoos over conventions this year. I've got my eighth sitting on the 24th in 4 months.
Need to get them empowered.
Yeah,
Empowered
Leah,
tattoo.
Leah I am plan. At this point, I'm planning on Page. I checked the dates. I have my badge. It is 2 full weeks before my vacation, so I think I'm safe to go to Page. As long as nothing weird happens during that before then, I should be at Page. All right, so let me get the stream ending up, and let's get this raid set up. And we are going to raid Hero Zone.
Yeah, I do plan on being Gary Con this time.
So
Continue, we
Gary
talked about it.
Gary
yeah.
Con, between Gary Con and Founders and Legends, which was like 2 weekends with a couple days in between, I ran into there's like 70 plus people in the community that I know that I met at Gary there. I didn't get 5 feet into the door of the Grand Geneva for Founders and Legends before I had at least 3 people calling my name. By the time I got down in the hall, I had already run into 7 people that I knew.
Big Bad Con was an incredible experience for me. That's one I brag about all the time just because all the influencers that are there.
Mm-hmm.
I met Keith Amon,
Oh, nice.
Connor
Nice.
Alexander, Jasper Cartwright, Matt Mercer.
Nice.
Yeah, it was like it's the airport Hyatt at San Francisco Airport in Burlingame, and everybody hangs out in the same
That would
central
be an
location.
easier one for me to make it to travel wise.
All right,
Mhm.
It'd
and
just
we
be
are
pain.
rating now. Thank you, everyone.
Bye y'all.
Everybody.
Bye.